5, 4, 3, 2.
So before I know, he's been doing a lot of things now. Last Laugher, T-shirt, hit. No, it's not saying nothing. I'm cool. Just saying Last Laugher's T-shirt, promoting his brand. Beautiful shirt. I love it. Thank you for giving it to me, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I want to tell you what that's about too. So.
Okay, well, we can get to that. So now let me say something to you, right? I've been having my high school diploma, but I just got my high school diploma last summer in journalism, being a journalist. So I made a mistake. I'm in my 3rd year now. I'm about to get my bachelor's of being a journalist. So there's a mistake I made, and I didn't like it, but I'm very vain with what I do. So it wouldn't have been a problem with him, but I was going live with my friends, and I called him off guard without letting him know we live. And it was the bad timing, and as a man, I'm going to apologize. Now, I'm about to get my degree as a bachelor being a journalist, and I'm going for my master's. So that was a sucker move on me because I'm learning. I called him off guard, and the question wasn't bad, but it was off timing. And I was wrong for that. And I'm telling him live in front of the family and the world, I'm sorry, and I apologize.
Hey, man, you know,
now we good. So now, I can get to being who the f I want to be.
That's right.
This is very sincere to me. Granddad, I was a good friend of mine. When he died, it broke my heart. He never did nothing wrong. He always came to the show. Kavari never told me no to nothing. I got him dancing with me. He never danced with nobody in the world. Now, shout out to K Slade. Rest in peace, K Slade.
Rest in peace.
Take off.
Shout out to Smoke 106.
Brother. And you being a major street dude from Harlem, who's never been home and never been to jail, what's your view on all these rappers getting murdered? My thing is, Cavario, I don't need to know everybody know I got the money. I just want to chill. I'll drive a Honda Accord and lay low if that's what I'm going to do. And I have the Bentley, but bring it out twice a month when I need to. Why do you have to let everybody know you got money? So what's your take on all these rappers getting murdered, man?
Well, first, you have to separate the entertainment thing from the street thing, right? As an entertainer, which is what a rapper is, part of their allure is the flash and the dash. So for them, as legitimate entertainers with legitimate income, they are expected to flash and show off and stuff like that. That's show business. Show the business. You know what I mean? That isn't the best business plan for street people, though. Right? And it's, as you said, I was in the street. I got in the street in 1980.
I never 13. Did a day in jail.
And I went all the way to 1997, damn near 98, clean, straight, and clear. No issues held me. I had bumps in the road early on, but nothing that I wasn't able to get around. Like, you know, a little lightweight case. Use your head. I mean, you got to understand, they don't expect you to have any intelligence, right? So if you're half-ass thinking, circumventing their system that's designed to catch non-thinkers is not that difficult, and that's just the fact of the matter. It was certainly the fact then. They may have a little more savvy now because between that time and now, so many people have gotten in the space, the street space, and they've revealed so much of what goes on that the system has gotten a little more savvy, but the system is still comprised largely of people who are far removed from the life. So the life evolves very, very quickly. And those people aren't in the space, so they can't keep up with the evolution of the game, except by way of people who are telling. You know what I mean? So, you know, staying alive, healthy, and free is not that damn difficult. Cats make a concerted effort to draw attention to themselves in their illicit activity, which is not going to ever work in your favor.
But Kavari, you know,
you run around with a bloody knife talking about, I did it. Well, okay, got you did it.
So Kavari, the problem I'm having is that these rappers, they do a lot of dirt, right? And then they get a deal, and they forgot they did dirt. It don't go away, Kavari. And me and Ron arguing with me, I think 1 or 2 chains, you got a nice sexy 2D. The 40 chains is killing me. You're a target. And these guys are getting murdered. The only murder was a mistake. It looked like it's Takeoff's murder. Everybody to me is getting killed for a reason. And that breaks my heart, man. Young Dolph killed me. Takeoff killed me, yo. I don't know these dudes, but I like these dudes. And they always the person who don't deserve to die. It's never the person who deserves it. And I don't think nobody deserves to die.
Always been. No, but that no, you talking in terms of the person who is behaving in the manner that draws that type of situation. The guy who's actually juggling.
Yes.
Never the guy who's actually juggling this. The guy standing next to
It's like a bad car accident. The drunk driver never
right.
but the other people.
That's right.
So moving along as that.
But let me answer the question you asked. You asked the question, why do I think that so many rappers are getting...
Yes.
And it's because they are assimilating the styles and behaviors and attitudes of street people, right? And they are not street people. And I think it's because they know they're not street people that they believe that I can act like that, but because I am not that, the square raising I've been given tells me that the kinds of things that happen to people that are like I'm acting can't happen to me because that's not who I really am. And my mommy told me that, you know, bad things happen to bad people, and I'm not a bad person. This is just a persona. This is just a thing I made up. So they don't understand in for a penny, in for a pound. They don't get that.
Thank you. See, it's funny, Cavario. Flex is crazy, but I like him because he's standing because he got his own money. He said he playing 6x9 music. He vows on it because all you rappers...
Oh, Tekashi 6ix9ine.
6ix9ine, yeah, Tekashi 6ix9ine. He said, I'm playing all his music, all your town. See, Kakashi, yeah, he's right. He said,
shout out to Ashton.
Yeah. He said to me, see, the thing about 6ix9ine I don't like is you told everybody I know you told. So as soon as he snitch, you a rat. No, because you're miserable. You're miserable, bro. But Flex is right. That YSL deal that case is crazy. It's everywhere. Come on, crazy. Cavario, it's ridiculous to me. Crazy. I don't, for the record, Big Face Gary says it with Cavario Part 2, I don't listen to gangster rap no more. Talk about your daughter, talk about putting money in your account, your mama, clothes. Yeah. All you brothers do when you get caught, the laptop comes out.
That's right.
See, I don't go to jail because I'm not in that world. I got my own, I go to war. These brothers are killing everything. Soon as that 10 to 30, yo, where your laptop, bro? My line, your hand hurt when they finish. Right. You gotta wrap their hand. You gotta wrap their hands like a Rocky boxer. They tell them some of their hand hurt, bro. No more Big Face Gary does not believe in gangster rap no more.
You listen to it, but you don't believe it.
I don't believe it.
They're
lying.
No one should. I mean, of course, a man of your age, you know, you're too long in the tooth to be buying the bull.
Thank you.
But no thinking person should buy any of that.
Oh my God!
So this is it's an interesting thing that you bring this up, right? Mm-hmm. I was talking to my partner Al Prophet, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
American Dope.
He's official. He's
them
official.
Together.
Right? Yo! Shout out to you. Y'all official, man.
What?
Y'all need to do a show together, man.
Al Prophet.
Y'all need to like really get a show together.
Oh, that's that. I'm heading out to LA next week. In 2 weeks.
Man. You're very good
to go, and we've been talking about this for years.
I will watch that show.
I mean, but it's going to be unlike anything.
You ain't got to tell me it's going to be great.
So check this out. Okay. The other day, I was telling him that he was suggesting. He said, "Yo, you should do something that kind of explains how this culture, the rap culture, came to be. Hip hop culture came to be as it is in terms of its mirroring of the street. You know." And I said, it's interesting. That's been coming up a lot in conversations I've been having, off-camera conversations I've been having with different people. And so the other day, I met a gentleman who he's from Eastern Europe. So it's like, you know, he sounded like he was either from Ukraine or most likely Poland, because I don't really remember people. He's been here since '69.
Okay.
I don't really remember people coming from Ukraine, you know, in '69, but they were definitely coming from Poland, right? So, cool guy, been here a long time, owns a couple of businesses up in the BX, a laundromat and a supermarket. Okay. So he was telling me about, you know, the experiences he's had as the neighborhood that he's been in the Bronx since '69 has changed. So he was around for the '70s when, you know, in the Bronx it was the gangs running around, you know what I'm saying, like the chain-wielding gangs, you know, the dirty gangs we used to call them, you know what I'm saying, like Savage Nomads, Savage Skulls, you know, the warrior type gangs, right?
Come out and
right. So he saw that, and then he saw the heroin age come along, and he saw what that did to the neighborhood, and then he saw the crack age come around, and he saw what that did, And you know, alongside of that, bubbling beneath that, he got to see the youth culture that got coined as hip hop. We didn't name it that. Corporations named it that. People who had the design on monetizing this this genre, you know, of expression. They called it hip hop because we said hip hop in the music, right? So he watched that happen as well alongside of this other condition, this other social condition, you know. And he was wondering, he's probably about, I would say dude's about 72, 73 years old, right? Okay. He was wondering how it is that it came to be that, like how it is that these kids, basically he's asking the same question you asking. Why do the rappers rap the way that they do and promote the kinds of things they promote? Like, why do they do that, right? Now, this is coming from a geriatric, European, you know, this man couldn't be more removed from our culture as if he were from another planet. So, offhandedly, I just explained, I was like, you know, this is how it went. There was the streets. There was no hip-hop. We were in the streets, and I say we because I was in the streets before hip-hop, right? And I'm not talking about when Grandmaster Vic and them were in the park out there in Queens.
You said before hip-hop, that's a long time.
Right, yeah.
Hip-hop's been a long time.
Yeah, yeah. Before that, before Grandmaster Flash and them were doing what they were doing and all that, you know, the streets were the premier culture within the urban community. So, you know, the Cadillacs and the you know, the 98s and the deuce and the quarters, you know, that's what you basically saw, you know, sitting on white wall tires, spokes, and all that whatever. Right. You know what I mean? And that's who the cats got out with the fedoras and you know the quarter fields and you know stuff like that. Whatever. That was the hustler. You know what I mean? This is the hustler of those early 70s. Okay, that is where people in the hood got to see somebody who was doing exceptionally better than most everybody else in the hood, right? So they got to see that luxury life, a little bit of that luxury life. Okay. Now, when rap comes along, initially, it does not touch any of that. It does not speak to any of that because the people who are coming into rap at that point, they have been raised in an environment where they've been taught things like, you know, this grown folks business. You don't speak on grown folks business. You know what I mean? You see what you don't see. You know what I'm saying? And so it never occurred to them to make any references to what they saw in their neighborhoods, you know, people who were on the other side of things doing. So there wasn't nobody saying nothing about, you know, how this one had that and was doing that and was a gangster. That was not happening. It was just hip hop, rapper rhyme, you know, 369, like that. Right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to stop it. So I remember Dead President. Remember that scene, you seen Dead President?
Of course. When
he knocked the nigga down the staircase and she was giving him head. He said, how you think your know how to give head like that?
Right.
That's the she told everybody minded their business back there. So then you killed me right there. Because me, I'd have killed that nigga. You crazy when you told me that scene? Absolutely. He said, how you think your girl know how to give head like that? You disrespectful MF. Yeah. And maybe punch him down the staircase. So it killed me. So you right, people minded their business back there.
Minded their business, man. Yep. Like people didn't say things like, hi, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson's a gangster.
No, they know. No one mind. Yeah.
None of that. None of that. Everybody knew who Mr. Johnson was. Nobody said that. First of all, that was an insult.
Yes.
Okay? It was an insult. So, you know, rap comes, you know, cats start, you know, rocking in the park, and they talking about how, you know, cool they are, and the nice at this and that they are. Nobody's making any references to any street shit. They're seeing street shit around them. Selling dope like every which way, you know what I'm saying? People getting robbed, but nobody's saying nothing about that. Okay? It's happening. It's in my environment, because that's their big thing, right? When they first started saying, oh, I'm just rapping about what I see. Right? Yeah. Ain't nobody ask you. Yeah. Everybody else can see it too.
You ain't lying.
Okay? See, the problem we had with it then was that we understood how it would ultimately evolve. They start you give them ropes to want to be a cowboy. Yeah. Right? So, the first generation of rappers that started to say something about, you know, anything remotely connected to street people, what street people were doing, how street people were living, were around, say, 80. This is not on records. This was just like, you know, mixtapes and shit like that. It's around 83 or so, right? 83, 84, 85.
So basically what you're saying,
Right.
oh, I'm sorry, I apologize.
So when they started saying things, they would say things like, you know, I know a guy, you know, in my neighborhood, he's got it good, you know what I'm saying? He do this, he do that, whatever, whatever. Very general, and they get off of it, just to let you know about the blight, and it really was encouraged by, you know, my big bro Grandmaster Melly Mel, and songs like, you know, Message and stuff like that, to really speaking to the urban condition. Because prior to that, you were living in that. Nobody wanted to hear that. People wanted to hear, you know, happy stuff or whatever. So nobody was rapping about that. When he did that and did so well with it, it piqued something in the rappers who would follow him, right? So those rappers started making intimate inferences to that type of condition, but never speaking specifically about anybody. Certainly there was no names mentioned, and there were no particulars that would give a person the identity, oh, I know who you're talking about. No, not at all. So then, that generation gave way to the next generation that started saying more specific things about, you know, their particular neighborhood. So now you can start to kind of, you know, hone in. All right, he's talking about he's from this neighborhood in this borough, and he's saying this, that, and the other. That's so-and-so, such. But only the people who are proximity to that have any idea who he's talking about. Okay. Then the next generation comes along, and you're talking about like early 90s, right? And now they're saying, you know, more detailed things about the street life or whatever. They give, you know, trying to give you more, you know, kind of like, you know, Rakim in the middle 80s, he's part of that, you know, generation of rappers who started to paint a more clearer picture. Kool G Rap, he gave you stories that were general reference to condition.
You know, to make you laugh. Again, this neighbor's incredible. Where we at right now, he's the one who signs Rakim. Cotty paid in full, right? What album did Rob Smith sign Rakim to?
Paid in full.
Paid in full. In this building.
Zakia Records.
Zakia Records.
Zakia Records.
I tell you, this is the building. This is history.
No way.
I'm telling you.
This building's crazy.
I just got a bunch of stuff. I'm telling you, my name is
a lot of history.
A lot of history. Robert Smith. It's like Kirk always say that shit. Look at Robert Smith clap, man. Bobito in the building. Robert Smith. Mario Ellie, two-time NBA champion from this building. Houston Rockets and San Antonio Spurs. So I'm telling you, this building.
That's
Mike
bizarre.
Parker too.
That's
Playboy,
bizarre.
Mike Parker does a lot of good shit.
Mike Parker. Anyway.
Yeah, that's bugged out. That's bugged out.
Yo,
That's
moving along.
So
I'm gonna let you go. You're too smart. Keep going. But I got something to say.
So now see,
this is smart. He's too smart.
This is important.
You're too smart.
Right? This is important because one can never be too smart. This is important because this is now proliferated throughout our entire culture, our community, and youth culture, period. This is impacting all young people now. And you got to realize that young people don't stay young. They become adults, and those adults impact, you know, the condition around us, you know what I mean? So it's coming up behind us. I don't want to be 70 years old having to think I'm going to have to take the head off of some, you know, 20, 30, 40-year-old dude because nobody taught him better than to behave the way he's behaving. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, that's why we need credible messengers, you know what I mean? So, you know, now you have this era that has been given way to largely by the exposure from the paid in full era, right? And, you know, guys are now starting to talk more freely about what they're seeing. They're still making references now. They might be even a little more specific. They might start saying, you know, a name here and there, you know, stuff like that. That's now if this is the line, this is all the street over here, and this is rap, this is what it's doing. Getting closer and closer and closer to that line. right? So now you got a point where you really tell people's business. So-and-so such and such doing this, that, and the other, whatever, I'm watching them. Now that person might not be around no more, whatever. So, okay, that's not directly impactful, but in a general way, it is very impactful because it's setting a precedence. We can start talking about this stuff now. It was before, it was taboo. You couldn't. You better not. Somebody gonna come tap you on the shoulder.
So
Hey, man, mind your business. Shut the fuck up.
What you saying these rappers talk too damn much when they rhyme?
That's exactly right.
Okay, so.
But this is how it happens, and if you understand how things happen, then you understand what is going to happen from what's happening right now. If you understand the evolution
So
of
I
the
need
condition,
to give now.
right? So we can't get to now, Gary, without coming
No, the reason
forward.
I'm saying that's because I keep saying, Cavario, I know you never could be too smart. Everything you said, I understand.
Right.
I caught everything.
Right,
And
right.
what you-
This is not for you, though, right?
Oh, no.
This is for them,
And that's
isn't
what I'm saying, the world. No, the world
Okay.
got you,
Right.
and I think
So-
you covered everything. What I'm asking you now, because I always tell you, you say you can never be too smart, but I'm telling you, you smart.
No, cut it out. I've been doing this longer than you have.
You smart.
Relax.
You smart.
I've been doing it longer than you have. Relax. Relax.
Right.
Let me do what I'm doing.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Now, when these cats started talking about all these things that they never could have talked about before, because they ain't got nothing to do with it, you ain't never participated in it, you ain't got no business talking about it. Okay, somebody said something, so you gonna say a little something. Somebody else want to compete with what you said, so they gonna say a little more. And now you got motherfuckers at their window writing down what they see like a goddamn surveillance team making up motherfucking rap lyrics, right? Okay. Now it goes from I saw to I, me, I'm him. Because the more, and these guys who first started saying, I did this, I got that, whatever, they about whatever, and nothing happened to them, I could say, I'm doing it. It's me.
They started pretending.
And they started pretending. Right?
Assimilation by
And
association.
Instagram came.
That's right. That's right. Assimilation by association, right? So now these guys are saying it's them. But what happens? People that know them start saying, that ain't that. I grew up with that. He ain't do this, he ain't do that, he ain't do this. So now the next generation who is looking at those guys who, until somebody said that is not that, they believe in that is that. And then they find out their favorite rapper was just rapping. And they go, well, when I start doing it, I'm going to be telling the truth. Because I'm really going to do this shit. And now they start, next thing you know, they wearing our uniforms. Real street who actually put work in. They're wearing our uniforms now to validate the lyrics that they want to speak. To the point where these started getting a rap check, had never done anything.
And they get caught down.
Got a rap check, and then went and bought work.
And I have a problem with that.
Now that is
How the
what we
hell
call
would they get a
hustling
rap
fucking
check
backwards.
and then go buy rap?
We did what we did in the idea of going legitimate one day.
Damn.
These motherfuckers started out legitimate and then
go
go
backwards.
crooked.
They're trying to front.
Trying to validate
That's
that
it.
that they real.
You know what? You know what?
Stupid.
Come on.
I'm gonna make you laugh because you know I'm arrogant like you. You the only.
I'm not arrogant.
No,
brother.
you good. No, when I say
I'm
arrogant.
confident,
No, when I
brother.
say okay, I use the word confident.
Yeah, I'm confident.
You're very
I
confident.
speak when I know what I'm talking about.
No. What you said was right. See, one thing about me, that's why I'm gonna make it. I buy down when somebody's right. You've been doing this better than me. No,
I've been doing this for 23
So
years.
they know my
bro.
personality.
I've been doing this for
Certain
23
people,
years.
I be like, man, what the fuck? No, but you right. You broke that shit down.
I won't tell you nothing wrong.
You
bro.
broke that
I
shit down the best
You
way.
won't find nobody
Yo,
telling
I
you
swear to
that's
God,
wrong.
you broke that shit down perfect. They run like that, you go backwards. Now you legal,
Shout
Kurt.
out to the BBS boys.
Yes, now you wanna
The
hustle.
lights is hot.
Yeah, no, you kill us. Now you wanna hustle and get to work like you said, Cavario. Now they wanna hustle and get to work. Now they legal. They go backwards.
Yeah,
Crazy.
because they want to be real.
Yeah.
They want to be real.
Like guys
That's
like us,
ridiculous.
you did it to survive, to make a way, because it was hard for you.
You know what's real? You know what's real? What's real is that situation that the little homie is dealing with out there in Atlanta. That's real. That's real. That when you go from the level of opulence that he was able to achieve from the level of struggle that he comes from,
Yes.
and then find yourself sitting in a rat and roach infested jail.
For people who don't know, he's talking about
Young Thug.
Young Thug. That case
and the
crazy,
YSL case.
That's too much to talk about, but that crazy. Oh, they got laptops made sent from Apple. The way they talking, the whole case crazy.
Yeah, it's
That case is crazy.
You got a bunch of kids who did not understand the ramifications
of what
their
they
actions.
Yes, now they're paying.
You got. I shared this the other day in a conversation that I had with my brother Reginald Douglas, right? And you can check his story out. It's real crazy. We'll definitely talk about that a bit before our Browns. So he, as a very young person, did a lot of things that at this point in his life he can clearly understand it was inappropriate, out of pocket, whatever have you. It's difficult for people to understand that you can be a thinking person, able to tie your own sneakers and drive a car, recognize your own address and name, whatever, and still not be fully developed in a way where you can make sound decisions that take things into consideration beyond what it is you immediately want. And that is because in males, that frontal cortex, that part of your brain that manages logic and deductive reasoning and thinking, it doesn't develop fully in a male until he's 21, 22 years old. In a female, a couple of years younger. In worst case scenarios, not until he's 25. So you can be capable of talking and responding and all that kind of stuff, whatever, and still not have the actual physical faculties to be able to make the decisions that make the most sense. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So these guys are, you know, and have started doing this stuff when they were 17, 16, 15, 19 years old. They really didn't have the capacity, mental capacity, to really think about what it was they were doing. All they were thinking about was the adulation and regard and respect and acceptance they were going to get from their peers right now, which most of them are suffering from a lack of.
So I'm going to say shout out to Young Thug. Hope the case work out for you, my brother. You know, he got shout out to Young Thug.
It's gonna be a long.
He got a long way to go.
A long, hard ride, and it would be miraculous if he were to not end up with some sort of significant sanction.
Yes, and I'm going to say one more thing, then I'm going to move on to my next question. Tory Lanez, I'm a big fan of him. You know why? Because
I love that kid.
He represents something that he represents something. They will both trump that. He represents something to me when I'm talking about. I don't care if I'm making $30 a day. Okay, so I'm going to move along.
So I want to ask a quick question though. I want to ask a quick question.
Okay.
Come on, Mario.
Which one?
So you heard because you.
Not like when you juicy. You know what I mean? You juice part. Oh, you can't take out that.
Let me tell you something. Those I was kidding when I was saying before. Oh, it's the alcohol, whatever. That's not.
No, I know you control yourself very well. Come on, you're a grown ass man. I'm just playing.
I've been a grown ass man since I was about 10, 11 years old.
Let me ask a question about the YSL case. I want to know: is it cut and dry for you though that Gunna snitched? Like, is it cut and dry for you because he said YSL
he had the
gang?
That is called cooperation.
Thank you.
Cut and dry.
That's cooperation.
I wanted to ask
if you understand what the word cooperate means, then you understand that that meets the criteria for that definition. It is cooperation.
Done.
He cooperated.
That's when 6ix9ine.
If he's okay with it, that's all.
And that's when 6ix9ine all of a sudden became a lawyer.
JoJo introduced me to him at the when they had the All Star up there in Chicago a couple of years ago.
Oh really?
And my cousin JoJo introduced me to him. And one of my homies was bodyguarding him at the time, whatever. You know, he seemed. I got from that young man. I got a good kid from that young man. I got a good kid from him. I didn't get, but then I got the same thing from Thug. Who introduced? Ruggs introduced me to Thug in 2016 in LA at Manny Black's spot in LA during the BET Awards. Oh, really? And he was a very humble, you know, real easygoing young man. You know what I mean? We sat and we started, like, we had a quick conversation in the introduction, and he was immediately like attentive. Okay. You know what I mean? And he was already, you know, pretty important to his peers.
Wow.
So he didn't have to give any kind of particular attention to someone that he did not know, but Ruggo introduced him to me. So based upon his regard for Ruggo, you know, he understood this. If he introduced me to him, this is, he brought me over here to meet him, so this must be somebody that I should regard. And he did, and we sat and we had a quick conversation. I got a feel for who he was, and you know, solid young brother. You know what I mean?
So Kavari, that's my point. Like that, we can move along with my next big question. That's why I don't like this legal. No disrespect. I don't know 6ix9ine. I have no problem with him, but I gotta tell the truth. All of a sudden, every time a drug case comes out, he's a lawyer. If he's a lawyer, you wouldn't have been a rap, my man. Stop being a lawyer, dog.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Every time a case come out about snitching, oh yeah, you a rat, young dog.
He's basically saying every single time another person gets caught as a snitch, he's the first one in line to say, yeah, see, everybody's snitching. It's not just me.
And that shit
Look,
drives me
everybody's
crazy.
snitching.
Why?
And it drives
Because,
me
yo,
crazy.
I want to go to, because I got to move on because you talk. Because you are literally admitted in your rap and that's your business. But stop trying to, every time somebody allegedly snitch, you going crazy.
So what he's trying to do is...
Misery loves company.
He's trying to, that's what you say. Wait till I say it to see if you're right. All right. He has had an experience that has exposed him to information that now makes him, and it's two things he's learned. Two things are, one, that rap is not real, and two, that there is a system that operates all around everything else that most people are playing with but have no idea what it is. He learned a lot about the legal system in his time, in his experience. A lot, right? And he wants to let people know that none of this shit is fucking real. We're all pretending to be somebody we're fucking not. You know what I mean? So, and that is a service to his peer group, to his young people. That's a service to them. Because there are a lot of people who are looking at what's happening and they're adapting in their mind something like, well, it looks like I can fuck around, go down, and dig my way out and be accepted. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in there, and whatever happens, happens. I'll just gather information along the way in anticipation of having a problem and be ready to go, yeah, I was ready for y'all, man. I got a whole book here, dates, names, activities, everything you need to know. You know what I'm saying? Show me the door.
But there's a handful of rappers that I know were street dudes, and you know a couple of them. I know what street dudes, and I know they did what they did.
Well, I know a couple of street niggas who never rapped, and they told like a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, it goes both ways. You ain't like Kavari, it goes both ways. You right, Chuck.
Kavari,
okay, but he talking, he right, Joe. That's why he here.
Too much bullshit has been perpetuated in our fucking community, and people don't understand because they don't think past go how far the impact of this shit really is. But there aren't a lot of people who are suited to deal with the condition that is coming about from this shit. I can handle mine. I do it all. Whatever a motherfucker want to do, I can handle mine. I got wit, and I also got weight. The average person does not have the ability to manage themselves. They need a system of protection. They need the legal system. They need protection in police, and they need that shit. So they need to pay attention to what the fuck is going on and have some type of input into how we can change this shit. Because a lot of you motherfuckers, if the police were to disappear tomorrow, I don't know about y'all, but I'll be able to keep every motherfucking thing I got.
Facts. Now, slow down, he killing this shit. I want to say something that's very close to us, the group, because y'all didn't know that. Rest in peace to Upper West Side Dutch. He came here, that's his nephew. That dude was incredible, man. And it's funny, before you looked up, because we had just had a conversation. He said, Gary, can you help my nephew? And we put him on the show and he got killed about 4 or 5 months later.
No,
now that's Upper West Side Dutch, that's his street uncle. Gangster, love him.
Well,
now,
you didn't know
no, before you go, I gotta do a commercial.
My cousin.
That's your cousin. I want to go right back. Commercial break. Shout out to the Upper West Side. Subscribe to the Big Face Gary Show. You subscribe. Moving along. I got to keep going because we have a lot of things here. I need your take on Tyree Nichols. That situation.
Man, listen.
It's tough for me.
I mean, you know, the whole, and this kind of connects with what we were talking about in terms of the degradation of the moral fiber of our youth. Not all people from our community who are impacted by the street culture that has given way to everything that's popular and attractive to young people, not all of them are drawn to the street side or want to be a rapper who represents the street side. The kids who grew up in the homes where, you know, their mother was a drug addict, their father was a drug addict, they didn't necessarily grow up to say, you know, well, I was not taken care of properly, and, you know, I had to feed myself, so I had to do things that, you know, forced me into the street. Before I knew it, I was a felon, before I was able to even apply for a job or whatever. Some of them was like, it's like a girl who grows up in a house with an abusive father, right? Watches her beat up on her mother. Well, some of those girls grow up and get a man just like that. But some of them go and get a man who is exactly the opposite of that. And some of these kids who grow up in those conditions don't go to the street. They go to the side where they think, I can do something about that condition. And they become district attorneys and lawyers and cops and so forth, right? But if they don't have a proper moral compass, they get caught up in the cultures within those organizations. And they find out that those organizations have gang mentality just like any other group of people who feel like they're empowered to get away with things that other people who aren't part of the group aren't empowered to get away with, right? So this guy, the main guy, I call him the main guy because obviously he's the catalyst. Without him, that doesn't happen. Although this is the kind of thing that happens frequently, this particular instance does not happen with this particular young man without this guy in that dynamic with his ex. You understand what I'm saying? So this guy got these other guys involved under the auspices of our connected Blue Brotherhood, and they probably just, and I'm pretty sure they didn't intend to kill anybody. But because they don't have proper, you know, handling, they get to go too far. If you're not going to stop yourself, ain't nobody there to stop you. And I think that's what happened. They just went too goddamn far.
Yo,
they just went too far.
Kavario, but I'm just looking at...
That could have been a regular motherfucker.
Kavario, I'm not saying I'm an angel. I know for a fact, everybody here that I know would have said, gee, he had enough. They beat blood out of him, Kavario.
That's because these are guys, I mean, this is a dynamic that's kind of particular to cops, right?
Okay.
And I've known a great many cops throughout.
And I know a couple, not a great, but I know a couple.
I've known a lot of cats. I know a bunch of them. I've known a bunch of them. I've known them before they became cops.
And I'm a dirty
right?
guy, too. Hate to say it.
So, you know, all of the guys I knew that became cops, I mean, every single one of them was not a tough guy in the neighborhood, was not a particularly respected guy.
They were bullied.
They were picked on, bullied, or at the very least, they were dismissed. They were dismissed. They were somebody who was very peripheral. And they found something they could be a part of where they could have impact in the places where they were discounted before. Because now I'm a cop, and I come through the block now, it's like, yeah, what's up, nigga? Whoop, whoop, what's happening, nigga? Yeah, all right? It's like, oh, shit, I got to pay you some respect now because now you're the police, nigga. You know what I mean? So a lot of them dudes is that. A lot of them cats, it's a cliche, but, you know, some things are said for a long time because they're true.
So, Carl, bottom line is you just think they didn't want to, it just went bad.
It just went too far. I think it was just a nigga trying to scare a nigga off his broad.
It got crazy.
And it just went too far because these are cats who've never had power before.
So, Kafar,
they don't know how shit, just like niggas be busting their gun all crazy. Like, oh shit, I hit somebody? Oh shit, they died? And if they don't get grabbed up, it goes from, oh shit, I didn't mean it, to, yeah, nigga, what's up, nigga? Yeah. They call me murder so-and-so. Accidental killer.
Fabrication.
So they become what other people think they are because he shot and they died, so he's a killer.
So Kafar, to make you laugh, so I had a vision. So when George Floyd got killed, those cops got fired eventually. As soon as those 5 cops killed this kid, they got fired. So truth, you were wrong.
Timing is everything.
Truth, and I did some research. You're still wrong. That guy is doing. Kirk said it. He is doing whatever you want to call it. That white cop's not fired. He's going to get fired. Truth. He's not fired yet. Truth.
Got released.
He's not released. He's chilling. So my point is, I'm gonna take this, Kavario, because he told me you gotta wait, Gary. They learned from George Floyd case fire people immediately, so I'm gonna take that. But that white cop should have been fired. He's still not fired. He will get fired, Cavario. But my point is,
only get fired because there's gonna be pressure.
But I heard he just tased him. He didn't really do nothing. And then I heard that I'm not gonna be a sucker. He may not. He maybe not get fired because he didn't do nothing. He just tased.
Well,
so
I mean, he's gonna testify.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We ain't gonna go over. Now, again, this is one of my great questions here because this is his buddy. How did you meet Vlad?
How did I meet Vlad?
Yeah. I mean, I know you told me. I want to know that. It's big for me.
I met Vlad in Mike Kaz's office. Mike Kaz is a guy who's an executive at Def Jam.
I know Mike Kaz is real,
right?
It's my man.
But, you know, of course you know him, but he was in the building too.
yeah. We all yeah.
So Mike Kaz is a brother, a very humble brother, who was at Def Jam, executive at Def Jam. Probably still is.
Yeah, I think he might still be there.
Right? And shout out Mike Kaz. And so I was in Def Jam all the time back then, you know, checking traps, looking for checks. Right? Because everybody who was doing anything in the music industry was in that building, right? So I'd make my rounds to all of the offices. You know what I mean? What's up? What can Don Diva do for you, my nigga? What's up? What's happening? You got a check? You got a check for me? Let's do it. You know what I mean? Or, you know. So I walk in. He's like, hey, all right, man. This is my man Vlad, man. He's Vlad the Butcher. You know, he's a DJ, man. He's dope. He's a dope DJ. I said, for real? I said, it's crazy because right now I'm looking to do the first Don Diva mixtape. And, you know, this is the concept. I said, I had my uncle, Little Melvin, the one who they made The Wire about in Baltimore. I had him, I convinced him, it took me a minute, but I convinced him to go down to the local radio station, popular radio station down in Baltimore. And I had him do an interview. And in that interview, he spoke about experiences that have never been spoken about before. These experiences were, you know, being brought into the circle of the mob, you know. And so sometimes, you know, as long as I've been dealing with this kind of stuff and talking about this kind of stuff, you know, the nature of a thing is the nature of a thing, brother. It doesn't change by virtue of its views. So no matter how much you think I speak well and I'm articulate and I'm too smart or whatever, I am what I am. Right. And I am what my mother and father made me, not what my neighborhood made me. And I'm not always comfortable speaking about this stuff because it goes against the grain. I don't think if my parents were alive, I'd have been doing any of this, you know? Because they wouldn't have understood this. They wouldn't have understood this world. They wouldn't have understood me talking to non-combatants about this lifestyle. They wouldn't have understood that. You know, my father would have been straight. He'd be like, are you out your fucking mind? You want one in your head?
You know what I'm at you? They call me Big Face. My mom's rest in peace, she passed away. She called him my friend. He don't have a big face. Why they calling my son Big Face? She blackened. I'm like, Mom, it's just entertainment. So I know what you mean. Like, Kurt, she was mad as hell. That's my son. You don't have a big face. Yeah, fuck you, Kurt. I know how you feel, man. Your parents, man, you bugging.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, tell me, like this is some different shit.
They old school.
So of course, they're original school.
Yeah, they old school. What are you doing, man?
So, you know, he spoke about these things, and I didn't expect this. I didn't go up there and black out. He'd never done like anything like this before, right? So he goes up in this. This is Melvin. He goes up into this radio station, and he starts talking about, as clandestinely as he can, as covert as he can. You know, he's talking about, you know, meeting with these people. And coming in and you know, giving them, you know, I think he took out like $225,000. And they were like, you know, he said they laughed and they took the money. Money was in a rollout bag, like a money bag. Yeah, $225,000. And they said, no man, they balled the money up and said, no man, this is not that. He said, we got several products here. It's heroin. He said, you pick whatever you think will work for you, and then you give us 2 corners that intersect anywhere in the city, and you will have a large number of whatever you pick delivered to that corner on a certain date and time, and you know, that's how you become rich and powerful.
Was Vlad from Baltimore?
No, Vlad is from
Oakland.
He's from Cali.
Cali.
From Cali.
Okay, cool.
Cali. So. So he talks about this. Nobody's ever heard anything like this. No one at that level of the game had ever spoken that freely and that been that specific before, right, in a public space. So I tell Vlad in Mike Kaiser's office, I want to take that interview and I want to turn it into a mixtape, the first Don Diva mixtape, right? And I called it the mixtape Old Gangsters and Young Guns because for a year up to that point, I had been working on the Don Diva book, which is old. You guys have had Old Gangsters and Young Guns book. I eventually put the book out.
No.
So Vlad says, "Cool, I'll do this." So I send him the audio. He makes he chooses all the songs, makes it. Vlad is a dope DJ.
Okay. You know I didn't know nothing about him.
Yeah, dope DJ. Vlad the Butcher, dope DJ.
I didn't know nothing about that. I know him as what he's doing now.
No doubt. So you know, he goes, he makes the mixtape, and you know, and we develop our friendship. So then he says to me one day, he says, "Yo, you know, I want to start like doing interviews, but I want to like, you know, I'm not big on the writing. I want to like video them." All right, so this is long before phones with cameras on them. Yes. This, you know, realistically, you know, 2004 phones, you know, were still like flip and shit like that. You know, they were still pretty basic. And so, you know, he wants to bring a camera and he wants to record whatever. I said, okay, cool. You know, I'll take you down to Baltimore and you can interview my uncle. And I did. So I took him to Baltimore and took him over to North Avenue, where my uncle had this big building over there that he had won in the gambling game because he was a master gambler. And let Vlad sit down with him and interview him. Unfortunately, Vlad lost the footage, but he stayed in the game. And so then the next thing I do is I get Vlad down to Atlanta and, you know, bring him around Meech and the family and all that, whatever. And, you know, let him do his thing there. And then, you know, he started, you know, moving in that space. He's still doing his DJing thing because that's his bread and butter, you know, but he's focused on this video and this interview and stuff like that. And, you know, wherever I can tap in and help him out, or, you know, I mean, I was like, remember that TV show, Hawk, back in the days with the bald brother with the beard, used to drive the 633?
Yeah, with the white.
So I was his Hawk.
That was my show.
So I you know,
kept that big 4-4 on.
I loomed in the background. And just, you know, like, whenever you need me in any capacity, you know what I'm saying, in terms of you moving around this space, I'm there. Okay. Right? So, you know, I mean, you know, but he slept on my couch, I slept on his couch, whatever. That's my bro. Okay. You know what I mean? So, when he starts to, you know, get his feet wet doing it, whatever, you know, it's that space is a struggle, especially when you don't have, like, you know, significant resources, right? It's about a grind and using your mind, right? So, one day I'm in Disney with my daughter for her 5th birthday, and I get a call, and it's Vlad, and he tells me, "Yo, I just got jumped by these dudes, and they are the rapper Rick Ross's guys." And I said, "What the fuck was that about?" He says, "Well, there was some report about one of his children's mothers, and it was going around on different networks, whatever. And I certainly wasn't the first. I was probably maybe the 4th person to put it on my network. But they saw fit to jump on me about it. So we know what that's really about. That was about opportunity. That was about, well, this is a white dude in our community, in our culture. Nobody's gonna speak on nothing for this guy. Nobody's gonna speak on his behalf. This is something that we can do, get some rec, make some noise, you know, get reputed, whatever, and it'll be no consequences." So
this
he says,
just to be clear to everybody else, this had something to do with like Rick Ross's baby moms and the whole 50 Cent debacle and drama or something like that. I would
say probably so, because you know, for me, that shit is so fucking peripheral, my nigga. Right. It's like air. It is. That shit means nothing to me.
For the people.
Yeah, it means nothing. So I really couldn't say specifically, you know,
exactly.
But it was something to do with his baby's mama, and more than likely it was in that same space. Okay. So he says, "Yo," I said, "So okay, Vlad, what do you want? What do you want me to do?" He goes, "I want you to talk to him." I said, "Okay, I'll talk to him." just so you understand, when someone like me talks to people, anything can happen, and you may end up having to answer questions that'll make you uncomfortable in a room that won't be comfortable. And then, you know, do you want to, you know, you got to think about this. I mean, I'm a very amicable person, and I know how to resolve. Obviously, I know how to resolve things in such a way as to make my point understood, and then not have to be. If I didn't have that ability, there's no way I could have gotten through my criminal career without have you know, fallen into the sucker trap. Right? So, you know, I'm just saying, but, you know, sometimes people just aren't responsive. And I'm thinking, you know, you talking about rappers in the rap space, whatever, they don't really, like, you might have it in your mind that, you know, these people and my people are the same people, but we're not. We're not. We are the image. These guys represent the reflection. Okay? So if you're standing in a mirror, like, you know, should a person be concerned about what's bouncing off the mirror, or should it be concerned about what is projecting into the mirror? So I say, now you think about that, and he's like, well, no, I wouldn't want to be in that position. I said, that's right. I said, you are making your foray. You've been doing the rap thing. You've been around a lot of rappers. You've made mixtapes for them and stuff like that, and you come from a different culture, you know. He's Russian Jew. And so you may be under the impression that these people in this space are who they say they are. Because, I mean, who in their right mind would say the kinds of things that these people say and it not be true? But that's who in their right mind. Remember, this doesn't develop until they're in their
122.
So they're not really in their right mind, right? For the most part, the people who are fueling this culture aren't in their right mind, right? Nobody should be taking them seriously. So, you know, you shouldn't think that if you're going to be part of this culture that you're supposed to observe these ridiculous rules that don't apply to these people because they're not from that life at all, right? I said, you are a civilian. You pay taxes. This legal system is fueled by your labor. It is your right to go to the hospital and inform your insurance company and make a police report, and then call your lawyer and then file a lawsuit. That's your right to do that. That's what you're supposed to do. And I guess he took my advice into consideration, made that, you know, decision, and the ultimate result, and this is not something he told me. This is not a conversation we ever had, but my understanding was, in fact, I think Rick Ross, who I think is probably lyrically my, you know, and professionally my I think he's like my favorite fucking rapper.
He talking.
Really?
Yes.
Alive and I believe.
He's a
that boy's super bad.
He talking shit though.
His imagery.
And he's very smart.
His lyrical content. I don't think I've ever heard a song of his I don't like.
No, he talking
right.
Shit.
And I met him before all of that. You know, I met him through E-Class in Miami.
That's when my
in the early 2000s.
His manager. He fired his manager. I stay out the business. I felt bad.
Right. So you know, sometimes, man, you got to realize that money does have an impact on people. Now, I'm not saying that that's the case because I don't know that to be the case. But a lot of times, when you're trying to figure out what may have happened, if it didn't involve a woman, it involved a bag. Okay? So, when he did this and followed through the way that he's supposed to follow through, I think I remember Rick Ross saying something about 300,000, something like that.
Yes, whatever he got. Yeah, he got
right?
some money. Yeah.
Something like that. So, you know, when you take a smart person like Vlad and you give him adequate resources and he's focused as he already was on building what he's building. I mean,
You just
you know,
add to the pie.
it comes out to what it comes out to. 15 years of consistency, building one of the best online brands, independently owned, that exists out there.
I agree. I love it.
All right, Vlad's a boss, bro.
I respect it. How about the Vlad?
You also have to say you did have one little issue with him, G.
Oh, I told
You
him.
have one little issue with
and me,
him.
no, listen. And me and talked about that. I said to him, but you know, he went at me. He said,
For
G,
your people,
he said,
because
G,
you
he
did
said,
have
G,
an issue
he
with
said,
him.
G, it sounded utterly ridiculous. But I said, yo, I hated how they go on the show, and these guys expose themselves and start telling themselves.
Let's talk about it.
He killed them. He said, G, that's utterly ridiculous. He's not making them tell on themselves.
Also, it was another thing that bothered you a little bit.
Well, address that thing first.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
go around for that. Thank you.
Address that.
I didn't like it, but G jumped all over me too. I said, yo.
Cause I want my brothers, like, steel is supposed to sharpen steel. If I'm iridium, bro. I'm harder than steel.
All right.
Time has told that. I can speak my truth, because I've been tested. Time has told that. Anybody who thinks they actually know me will tell you I'm every bit of what it is I appear to be. That's a fact. So if I go to sharpen something and it wrinkles or bends or folds, then you can't say, oh, you know, I'm not a good person, or I'm unkind, or whatever. Steel sharpens steel, but if it's not steel, then steel, you know, crushes steel and breaks, you know, it breaks whatever steel it comes up against. So if I tell somebody something and they crumble under that truth, that reality, then, you know, maybe you need to reassess. Maybe you're not who you think you are. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you that, like, if a person gets in a seat, and you mentioned, but he's, you know, in some instances, not very many, because to have exposure on that platform is definitely favorable to people, right? It's an established platform with over 5.5 million subscribers. So a person getting that level of exposure and not having to pay for it, you know how much something like that would cost to have that kind of exposure? Mm-hmm. You're talking about tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of advertising money. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And like with Don Diva, when you were in Don Diva, you were validated by the fact you were in there. It was assumed that if you're in Don Diva, that you've already been scrutinized by people who were qualified, right? And so you've been certified.
Then the knowledge
right?
that you already.
Right. So there was less of a question about whether you were valid or not, whether what you were saying or claiming was valid or not. So on the Vlad platform, it's similar in that respect, you know, in this entertainment space or whatever the person's thing might be. You're getting, if you're on Vlad, whatever it is you claim must be some significance to it, because here you are on this platform.
He's accredited.
Okay? So if a person isn't being paid, or if they are being paid, you're on this platform and you are benefiting from it. Now, whether you're being paid or not does not negate your common sense or your good sense if you got any. So if you get on there and you're asked a question, I don't care how much money you think he may have given them, he's not saying, I'm going to pay you to play yourself out. No. I'm paying you based upon what I believe is the value to me on my platform.
So
now, if you are thinking like some type of slave, thinking, well, he paid me, so I guess I gotta tell him everything. Like then,
you say put the slave voice.
Like
what? You think I beat that? You think I'm playing your
Put the slave voice. He definitely put the slave voice.
So it's like, what the fuck, nigga?
You killed that.
Get on there and say, you know, so you, and I'm gonna be honest.
You shot a guy on life. You shot a guy on life, Kirk.
I've never been
the Lifehouse niggas. Pause.
The big nigga.
The guy who was
you gonna eat that cornbread?
No, the guy who said don't pass the gun line.
Right. Not the gun line, boss.
Not the gun line. Yeah, you a funny dude. You killed that shit. So you know what? So mention something.
So like people like myself, we were never comfortable watching these interviews. They make us cringe. We're never comfortable with it. But you know, they're not talking to us. They're talking to the reflection of us in our lifestyles. The people who have emulated the things that they think that people like us have done and how we've lived. And you know that's the difference because no one like us would answer a question that was in any way, in their mind, detrimental.
So, Mom, like you said, Vlad, if he's paying you or not, I'm not telling you to say anything. You came in.
He might even say that to a person before they even start. He might even say, look, I'm not asking you to say nothing that is detrimental to you. I'm going to ask you questions. You can answer, you can answer, I won't answer.
I'm trying to get my damn views up. That's it. If you
That's
want
it.
Whatever,
I'm here to deliver to my clients, and my clients are the people who subscribe to me, especially the ones who pay.
And he's paid, they're paying.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So if he asks a question,
some of the guys told on themselves outright.
You know why?
You know why?
For the same reason. And listen, and did you think he needed Vlad for that? Did you see other things? Like I know Ab. You think he needed the? Did you see other things? Like you can see Ab on anything. Ab gonna say, "Yeah, nigga, get it, do it." That nigga, but like that was Ab.
Yeah, he was.
That was Ab. That was Ab. You know, there are conditions that give way to that in us. Conditions that exist in our developmental experiences coming from the environments we come from. You know what I mean? And at the basis of this behavior that we throw ourselves away for the glory is a lack of the appropriate degree of esteem that would make us make better fucking decisions on a regular goddamn basis.
Right. And I agree with that. So let me ask you something, because you're like, I'm looking at Vlad as your friend, you know, he's a young boy. Did y'all got a deal going? Because you've been doing a lot of work with Vlad lately. Is this something you want to do? Explain to the world what you're doing with Vlad. It's something you became a sport. You know what? Let me finish like you told me. It's like he said, yo, I'm not a hood dude. Can you go get a ghetto guys to me who are official? Because you're killing it.
That's a narrative. Now that's a narrative.
You're killing that shit, Peter.
Right, but that's a narrative that you know a person would interject in the absence of the actual information.
Okay.
So when people make up what they don't know, especially people who consider themselves to be relatively smart, and they figure if I come up with it, that's reasonable, and they're more inclined to lean towards something that fits their preferred narrative than they are to pursue the truth. Because it's like, either way it's inconsequential to me, realistically, right? What's actually happening, it doesn't really matter to me. So I'd rather go with the thing I believe and would like to think. But Vlad has known me a very, very, very long time, almost 20 years. I have been the person that I have been the entire time that he's known me, right? He's known more about my real pedigree than 99% of the people who are aware of me. He been knew that I was this person. He could have been said, yo, what'd you say? Oh, I'm not really a street dude, but you really are. Come and go and get me. He been could have said that if that's what he wanted to say. That's not how this came about at all. Okay. How this came about was my bro, Unique, Mecca Audio. Shout out to my bro. All the way up. That nigga ain't got no knees. He just stands up. That's it.
That's it.
Right? So, he called me one evening. I was at my home in SC. He says, bro, my channel's growing. He works hard every day. He gets up and does his videos every day. Get around 5:30. He got a setup. Like you would never believe that he just, I showed it to you, right? You would never believe that he just only maybe now 3 years ago got out of prison after doing almost 3 decades. You would never believe that. I mean, full production screens, green wall, backgrounds, cameras, microphones.
Me and couldn't believe
whole thing.
How in tune he is with technology.
That's how he's always been like that. You ain't seen nothing yet.
He's a
dope. You've heard the adage, the cream always rises to the top.
Yep.
Yeah, this dude is cream. This dude is cream. Trust. Yeah. Right? So he calls me and said, bro, my numbers is going up. You know, people are loving my jail stories, and I need a bump. So I was thinking, yo, can you get me on Vlad? And I was like, sure, I'm pretty sure I can get you on Vlad. Call you right back. So I'm at home, you know, laying in the bed. And I was like, Vlad, I said, yo, you familiar with Unique Mac Audio? He's like, no, not really. I said, well, this is my man, you know. We did a book together. This book is called Raw in Harlem. Dope book and all that, whatever. You know, I give him a little background. You know, he was a street cat. He created one of the most prolific nightclubs in Harlem's history. And he did it in Washington Heights, you know, but when he put Club 2000 in Washington Heights, he dragged 8th Avenue up to Broadway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we from that back there.
Right?
On 8th.
Huh?
Me, Kirk Curry, remember back
Yeah,
we used to get weed on 8th back then. We used to get weed from
So
back
he had a record store where it headquartered his record label, Mac Audio, on 8th Avenue. So he opened up Club 2000, and then he brought the Miami bass sound and culture from Miami, right? And you know, he created something extraordinary. Never before and never after was this done. So you know, I told Vlad, you know, I gave him all of this, and then Vlad said, "Okay, cool, that sounds dope. You want to do the interview?" I was like, I wasn't expecting that. Yes, my man, of course. I would want it to be done right. So yes, I'll do it.
All right.
So we made the date. I went up to New York. We did the interview.
Oh, Vlad came to New York?
No.
Oh, you let you
I went to New York.
Oh, you came
And, yeah, and we did the interview. And, you know, it went well. It's well over 1 million views now. And I was still up here. So Vlad said, yo, you want to do the Peter Shrew interview? I said, Pete's my man. I actually already interviewed Pete on my podcast that I started, Dope and Game, before, which I'm relaunching. Before I've been archiving. I got a bunch of shit that I've already shot that no one's seen yet. I'd done it on my podcast, you know, years ago.
Right.
And so I was like, yeah, that's my man. You know, so, you know, I do Pete's joint. Pete's is over 1 million now as well. And then he was like, yo, yeah, let's do this. And I was like, yeah, let's do this shit. Let's do this. I mean, it makes sense. You know, we got history. You know what I'm saying? I know who he is. He knows who I am. And we've both done what we've done to such a degree as to establish these respected brands within the journalistic space. We've got the relationships. You know what I'm saying? I have the relationship in a particular space because that's what I come from. And the people whom I have those kind of connections with, they would never get on the platform because they would never be comfortable with the way that the rap guys have been comfortable with him questioning. You know,
Yeah.
they have to be handled a different kind of way.
Yeah.
I, of course, know that way better than he does. A smart person, a true leader, a true boss, delegates the appropriate responsibilities to those best suited for it. He does not say, hey, you're really, really good at, you know, juggling knives. Why don't you go over here and, you know, deal with the babies, or, you know, do the daycare shit, whatever. So you can be over here juggling knives around the babies? Like, what the fuck? No, you don't. You put people in a place where they are set up to win. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes people stick with you, because you put me in a position to win. You didn't put me in a position where I'm gonna fall on my face and be like, oh damn man, you know, thanks. You know what I mean? So you know, it made sense. It made sense to me because as much exposure as I've had, Vlad has a light that is absolutely beneficial for me to stand in, and he's offered me an opportunity, you know, to make money and stand in the light.
And that's what people,
that's hard.
That's what's crazy about that. After I'm gonna move on, but you're right. That's what a lot of black brothers don't do. I mean, he's not black, but that's your friend, and you helped him. He helps you.
You grew up with one of my best fucking my brother.
Trevor,
yeah,
good dude.
He white.
Trevor's a real good dude. Official. I can't even tell his page. Great DJ. It's my man. So, what I want to do ask is a question. It's kind of. It's not like. Tell me a Cisco Kid story. What made you work with him?
What was so special
about him with Cisco Kid? Yeah, tell me that.
About that story.
Well, I'm from Harlem. When I say I'm from Harlem, I mean I'm from the place that when historically they have referred to Harlem, that's where they're referring to. They're referring to that place between 110th and like 135th, Lenox to Morningside. That's Harlem. Everything that grew out of that culture started there and expanded outward. Right? Now, if you negate that, it only means you're not old enough to know better. I'm almost 60, so I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And I'm not a spectator. I was born in it. In my home. You understand? It was my religion. There was no church. This was my religion. I was indoctrinated in gangsterism. My mother made me know the history.
Hold on. What did you just say, y'all? The world? He's made to be, he understood. When he woke up, his mother pushed him out. You will learn how to be a gangster.
That's it.
Get raised
by gangsters. And you know the rules for being a gangster.
Get raised by wolves.
Beautiful.
That's right.
Yeah,
so that was my reality. It's not a beautiful thing. It's not ideal. But it was the reality that I was born into in 1967 in Harlem at the ground zero of the first real opioid epidemic. And in that opioid epidemic, ground zero, there were young people who were either on one side of the bag or the other, right? The Cisco Kid was on the business side of the bag. Cisco was in 16th Street, right?
And what?
Between 7th and 8th.
Okay, cool.
Closer to 8th.
Let the people know.
I remember him being around. It was a furniture store.
You know Donnell? Shout out to Donnell. That's
Shout out to Donnell.
Yeah, that's your official.
Manhattan Avenue.
Yeah, official dude.
My stepfather, whose last name I carry, he had a restaurant. His last number hold right there in the corner of 116th Street in Manhattan Avenue. And that's where Nell is from.
Yeah, Donnell from right there.
Yeah. Right, so I know Donnell all my life.
Oh, official, that's your man.
Yeah,
he really off sidewalk, did time of ball, official dude. Official.
Yeah, like that's where I'm from. So I grew up, in the West Brothers, the Raj. I grew up.
That's your background right there.
From
Manhattan, right there.
That's where I'm from. That whole thing, that was my fiefdom.
I grew up.
I was ghetto royalties. That was my whole fiefdom. I went to school. Of course. I went to PS 180.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Shout out to Edie, wherever you at. The PC boys. You know what I mean? Like Jeff. Listen, bro.
Okay.
Like that was. It was the best and worst of times. It was the best of times if you were in. It was the worst of times if you weren't, but you were around. You know what I mean? Because back then, being included was everything. Being excluded was the shit.
That's how Cisco came in the mix.
So Cisco predates all of this. Cisco was a young hustler. He used to be in front of J-Horn, in my memory, selling quarters, and he'd have a bag of quarters. You know what I mean? Quarters are $50 bags of dope, $55 bags of dope. And this guy was a millionaire by the time he was 14 years old.
Jesus, mother
So you talking about 60?
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, 60. You talking about 60?
He was a millionaire by the time
65, 68, 66. You know what I mean? His story is unprecedented. And why did I want to do his story? Because I was very much aware of his story. He was a significant influence on all of us.
He's still out here in Harlem?
Right? Who?
Cisco still hang out? He's still out here?
No, you got to watch the Vlad video. You got to watch that.
I will.
You got to watch it.
I will. I'll call you tomorrow.
You got to watch it. You definitely got to watch it.
I'll watch it now.
Definitely. Don't even call me again until you watch it. It's real.
I'll watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, it's real.
I have no problem.
It's real shit.
And I'll call you after I watch it.
You're going to thank me. You're going to thank me. Like,
I'll watch it tomorrow.
Wow. Like, serious shit. So, Cisco was brought into the game by a guy named motorboat. Motorboat was passed on since. But he was scooped up shortly after he got down by a gentleman whose name you should know because he's on the Mount Rushmore of Harlem Hustlers. And Harlem, if there were a Mount Rushmore to the game, the Mount Rushmore would be located in Harlem.
Okay.
And on that would be, for sure, this gentleman's face, Jesse Gray.
I heard of Jesse Gray. One of the best in the field.
Yes.
One of the...
So Jesse is the
School's
one...
name Frank Lucas Bullford?
Frank was in Durham.
He was in here, okay.
Yeah, he was in Durham trying to get cow shit off his shoe.
Baby too.
At that time.
Yeah, he was a baby.
Yeah, he wasn't
Okay,
here. He wasn't up here. So the Cisco Kid was a prolific hustler. Super fly, like he was a super fly ass nigga, man.
Okay.
Like he set a standard for young hustlers. Like all of the names you've heard, you know, Vito, Jerome Harris, Black Ronnie, like all these names who were, you know, revered and held at the, you know, the highest regard or respect or fear or whatever. They were all guys who came along alongside Cisco, but Cisco was the guiding light.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So just to put it into a real perspective that a lot of people won't be able to wrap their minds around. As the story goes, Cisco, at 15 years old, bought a mansion in Las Vegas because his son wasn't able to breathe well in the city, and they needed to get him out to the desert air.
His son.
Yeah, Reggie. That's who the interview was done.
Yo, you gotta slow down, bro. I'm not slow. I'm not that dumb. I'm all right. He's 15. You said his son. When he had him 7?
He had him when he was 16. So his mother, his mother was 15, Reggie,
All right.
and his father was 16.
He's
Cisco.
like 1. His son was 1 when he got the mansion in Vegas, baby. 1 and a half, 2.
Yes, because he needed somewhere he needed to be out in the desert air.
It's crazy.
So at that time, I would say there might have been he's probably the only guy his age in Harlem who knew that there was a place called Vegas, let alone how to purchase a house, let alone have the means by which to do so, let alone that house be a mansion.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea of how extraordinarily gifted he was.
Okay.
Right? Extraordinary cat. If you want to see that, you got to go and check out that Vlad TV.
And I will.
You know,
got me bugging right
it's
now.
dope.
I will look at that tomorrow.
It's dope. I promise you, it's unlike anything.
You said on call, you try to do it, right?
Yeah, no doubt. When you do it, you're gonna be like,
Jesus, mother, man.
yo, I swear.
But
You know, I don't do hype.
No,
I call it like it is.
You don't cap. You keep it
Yeah, I
like
don't
this.
do no capping. I call it like it is.
No, you straight.
The truth is usually sufficient, man. You know what I mean? It's usually sufficient. If you tell the truth, you know the truth, you tell the truth, that's usually enough. It's good enough.
So
You gotta make shit up.
You know what's so crazy? Your personality, how you real, you keep it 100. Would you interview an informant, a known informant?
No.
Damn, I know. I wouldn't either.
Have I ever?
I didn't ask.
No.
No, I have not, but you never
And do
know.
I know them?
Of course.
Let me tell you something. I had one of my guys, one of my dudes, one of my partners from Sex Money, right? Reach out through someone that we know in common. This was a few years ago. And he said, yo, homie wants to talk to you to tell you what really happened. Now, I was very, very disappointed in the brother because Sex Money, before Pete brought the gang thing into it, whatever, we were very, very close. You know what I mean? And we would do anything for each other. And it never would have occurred to us that anybody would have betrayed anybody. You know what I mean? And this particular one was, he was a star within our circle. And it never would have occurred to us that he would have gone the way he went. So I have not seen him or spoken to him since 1995.
Damn.
When, you know, when it was revealed that he had gone bad, right? And I would really love to know, like,
What time?
You know what I mean? But it's like, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Like, even on some, like, I'm not going to interview you, nothing like that, right? But it's like, when it was, I didn't expect it to be offered. But when that came to me, I was like, thinking about this for the first time. And my heart was like, nah, I'm cool. Having nothing at all to do with you people out there. If I lived my life based upon what I thought other people thought about me, I would certainly have died or went to prison a long time ago. I was properly esteemed. I was properly validated by the people who actually mattered to me, the people who raised me, nurtured me, loved me, guided me. I didn't need anybody outside of my familiar unit to validate me or give me, you know, the stamp. I didn't need that. I stepped out with the stamp. And that's why it didn't matter what nobody was doing. I was just doing me. I dressed my own way. I moved solo. If anybody moved with me, they were moving with me.
You kind of fresh too, man. You stay fly.
Thank you, my brother. I mean,
every time I see you, he say some shit. He said, Kirk, he came with the Louis Vuitton leather, right? I said, yo, man, who's over you or Kev? You know, God, he said some crazy. He said, Gary, no disrespect to Kev. Kev from down south, man. He not in my lane with this. He's a fly nigga. He's got a whole lot of money. He was after me. I've been doing this thing. I'm from home. I said, pardon me. I said, good Jesus.
I'm just telling you.
I've been doing it. No disrespect to Kev. That's your man. And that's your man. So yeah.
Bro, I can show you a picture of me right now at 5 years old. With a big gold medallion on my motherfucking neck.
Yeah, that was some funny shit, wrong. He said that. He said, those are
like I was born into this. I was born into this.
Kev from the South, G. That's my man. He wore a lot of fly shit.
So I've been doing it.
This ain't nothing to me, man.
I was raised this way. I didn't know there was any other way.
I hear you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just the truth.
No, but that's fly.
If the thing is, people have preferred narratives. Things they would prefer to believe. Especially when they have proximity to certain things. Because regardless of who they are or aren't, what they've done or haven't, if they have proximity, meaning they're close to something, and that thing has been validated, they are invested in that validation. Reality be damned. You understand? That is a low self-esteem thing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now, people can negate that or whatever, but I'm going to tell you something about time. It tells all motherfucking truths. All truths. So you can carry all the pretense and fucking fantasy you want, but I guarantee you the truth will outlast you. Ain't no future in front. You said it a long time ago, so whatever.
I like when you said that shit though, that was fly. Yo, this is my man.
And so it's really clear. I ain't got no fucking issue with Kev. I never did.
That's your man.
I never had an issue with Kev.
But I just said this, it was fly when you said it. Because
never.
There's a couple guys I know who fly. Mo Blind, Kev Chopper. You know when you killed that shit. I'm going to do that. This dude drives me crazy. This guy I'm going to ask you about. And I like him, but I love him. He has no respect for nobody. What do you think about Charleston White, man?
I love Charleston White.
Kirk, remember Charleston White, yo?
Let me tell you a story.
Kirk, he say
Let me tell you a story, bro.
Out his mouth, Kirk.
I'm gonna tell you a story of how I met Charleston White. Now, bust. This is very recent. This is very recent. This is very recent. Yo, holla at me, little homie. Holla. You better have read that book too, motherfucker. You said, this is what I want. I know you busy burning the world down. You know what I mean? Remaking that motherfucker over. You keep doing what the fuck you doing. I get a call from a cat that I know in Atlanta. He does the podcast thing, right? I forgot the name of the particular podcast, but Urkel Full Circle is his app on IG. So he calls, he says, yo, I'm doing this thing, I'm having, this sit down with Charleston White. And, I had all these people that are coming, and somebody said to me, yo, you gotta call Kavario. Kavario gotta get involved with this. I mean, he gotta come in, you know what I mean? Sit down and talk to this motherfucker, you know what I mean?
Crazy.
Okay. So, I go to this gathering, and there's about 40 people there, and I guess, like, from what I was listening to, what I was hearing, is people doing radio shows, podcasts, you know, different people in, you know, the independent media. And you could tell after homie came in, you know, he sat down, he, you know, rolled up, you know, smoked a little bit, whatever. And I'm watching him, watching everybody, whatever. And you can tell that once people started, like, when they started talking to him, you could tell that people had come in with preconceived notions and predetermined agendas, right? One thing for sure, they were looking to leverage the moment and looking for some virality. And they definitely were, you know, gonna give him their peace of mind. But he diffused that whole room. He came in there. Now y'all seen the I don't know.
What state you
mad?
What state were you in?
This is Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay, cool.
The mad Charleston White. I met Professor Charleston White.
Really?
Smoking joints today, and they started asking him questions. He doesn't speak louder than this. He's like this the whole time. He's like this. He's talking like this right here. And they ask him questions. He's like, well, what that comes down to. See, I'd gone to class and I, you know, studied this thing. I had a degree in social science, so I did it. And I'm just sitting there. See, I'm a Machiavellian motherfucker. See, growing up in an actual gangster home, I was given The Prince by Machiavelli. I was given Mein Kampf by Hitler. Every book that's ever been written on the mob, my mother gave me to read. As a little kid, right? I'm thoroughly indoctrinated in that existence and everything connected to it. That's just the reality of it. Think what you want, but with all the people who have comments and all kinds of shit, you know, the keyboard kamikazes, right? All the shit they got to say, what they don't believe, and all that, whatever.
You said keyboard
Any motherfucker that has ever approached me in any Walmart, supermarket, airport, whatever, is always, yo, hey. So I guess none of the people who have anything derogatory or demeaning to say go anywhere. Because I go everywhere. And everybody I run into be like, hey, salute, salute, salute. So, in any case, I know what he's doing. And I know why I was brought in here. I was brought in here because it said, yeah, anybody gonna get him. Kavario gonna get him. So, this person says some stuff, whatever, and it's right up there. So, bloody. Not that. He's like, oh, well, you know, the reason for something like that would be that, you know, there are people out there who are So I see what he's doing, right? So I sit there for the whole, probably 2 hours. I don't say a fucking word. Not one word. Nothing. The whole time I just sit there. Just watch and listen and read. When it's over, I walk up, I get over. He smiles because I said, they thought we were going to clash. I was brought here to behead you or something. I said, you keep doing what the fuck you doing. That's it. And he said, oh, word? I said, oh, word. We took a couple pictures together, gave him information. It's my book, check that out. First, I gave him 50 critical quotes, a training book, you know. And he was like, oh, cool, whatever. I said, wait a minute. Went to the car, came back. He said, this is what I'm talking about. Now, the training book is thinner than this and half the height. Raised by Wolves, it's this thick, this big. He's like, that's what I'm talking about.
Wait, though. No, wait, though. There is a little bit of a... But Charleston White is telling people to tell on people. Now, is he saying...
No, he's saying that he tells on people. He's gonna tell. Y'all don't get.
He's on. I need to use the bathroom. Excuse me, a commercial break.
Well, wait a second. He's also going on record is saying that he's trying to start a snitch crew so that everybody should not be scared to tell because it will help things. Now, I don't have a dog in the fight about that. But I'm asking you because you are certified. Why that, like, how do you feel about that? That's kind of a...
Okay, so my feelings about that, based upon what I've observed, and I've never seen anything that I didn't go, like, because I overstayed.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? In that interaction, he explains that the Charleston white y'all see is a character. That's a character. He said, I made that character up. He said, had I not made that character up,
nobody would listen.
None of you would be in here right now. You wouldn't be in here right now. I made that character up. Because prior to that, nobody was listening.
Because he's Uncle Ruckus.
Nobody was listening.
He's like,
that shit makes sense. He's crazy.
Right? So, it takes a lot of courage to do what he did. It also says that I don't need your approval. I just need you to fucking listen. The impact that he will ultimately have on this fucked up, destructive ass, jackass backward fucking culture that they have, swapped out for supposedly, youth culture is going to be so profound when people finally see, 10 years from now, what it really comes out to. People do not have vision. Everything is right here, right here. This is far they can think, right here. That's why they make the kinds of decisions that constantly get them in situations. And they be like, I got here. Because you didn't think about, the version of you that's 18 months older. You didn't think about that guy. You didn't think about what that guy might want, what condition he might desire to be in, right? So he is telling people everything opposite of what popular culture is telling them. Because we already seeing what popular culture is doing. Popular culture is driving us right into the fucking ground. We're doing more damage than any racist, supremacist institution anywhere has ever been able to do. So what he's saying is, fuck all of that. It's just like Vlad with the questions that he may ask. You can hear what I'm saying. You ain't got to listen, motherfucker. You ain't got to do anything I'm telling you to do. But what I'm telling you ultimately is, you can think for your motherfucking self. They're saying that, I'm saying this. I'm telling you, I don't have to go with what they're saying. And if you don't want to, you don't have to either. So you do not have to be a pill-popping, lean-drinking, gun-toting, gun-random shooting motherfucker who doesn't care about the impact that he's having on his goddamn life in the community. You don't have to be that. You can do something else and still be you. There needs to be a counter to that fucking culture, bro. There needs to be something that's saying, yo, this shit is not sustainable, my nigga. How many pills you think you could pop before you go pop?
Accountability.
There you go. And on that, there's your bathroom break.
It's accountability. He's about accountability.
He official, smart as hell.
Hey,
we all smart, we passionate.
I'm just paying attention.
That's a fun. But Charleston White drove me crazy. But that's a fun.
Let me tell you, he's super funny.
You can't like.
He's smart.
What I always say is I'm back and forth with him because I don't always agree with how he's saying what he's saying, but what he be saying makes a lot of sense.
I respect the man.
It's like accountability.
That's right.
He's just take accountability.
That's right. Because motherfuckers are quick to say things and go along with what's being said, but the accountability is not even there. It's like, I'm going to go along and sing along, whatever, but when the repercussions come, I'm going to step back and say, he said it. That wasn't me. I'm not with the shits. I don't even know what the shits is. You know what I mean? 99.9% of motherfuckers that's running around talking all that crazy shit.
And nobody's put it in that.
You could smack fire out of them. They won't do fuck shit.
But it's only because
I've done it.
We are at where we at in the age that we at with these social media platforms that he's able to do that. He couldn't do that back in the days.
Nope.
Right. Couldn't do that back.
Nope.
No.
They would have got him. Yeah. They would have got him. Yep. Because the idea of a counterculture to what he's been saying still existed. That idea no longer exists. That's why he's getting away with it, brother. obviously something's changed, or the fact that something wasn't what it was is now revealed. Maybe it never changed. I don't think it ever changed because it never was. Never was. It was just something that motherfuckers bought into and figured, I mean, I could say these things, perpetuate these things, you know, adorn myself in such a way that it is reflective of these ideas and beliefs, and not have to really deal with the repercussions of this actual lifestyle. You know what I mean? I'm just playing along.
Yeah,
I gotta do something. This is what I'm doing.
At some point, we gotta take the blinders off.
That's right.
You gotta take the blinders
That's
off.
right. Otherwise, it's gonna crash.
I mean, is this the reason why our music really hasn't evolved in the last 5 years?
That's right.
I mean, because when we think about the 80s era, one of the golden ages of music, you know, as a musician, you know, I think about how hip hop really hasn't evolved with its message to the
No. Hip hop is doing this. 1 foot nailed to the floor. That's what hip hop is doing. Just like that. That's what it's doing. Huffing and puffing and sweating.
Right.
So it's like, I know I'm working because I'm huffing, puffing, and sweating. But if you looked up, motherfucker, you would see that you going in a circle.
All right.
Going in a motherfucking circle, man.
Okay, moving on, y'all. Let me ask you a question. Yo, Vlad, tell the word in the best way you can.
Vlad.
I'm not Vlad, but
No, I apologize for me. That just came out. I'm thinking something you said about Vlad, but that's okay. Don't edit that. I don't want that. I'm thinking about something you said about Vlad that threw me off about the people telling themselves, and you schooled me. You was absolutely right. So moving along, tell the word what's your next move, Kavario.
Well, we're gonna take Vlad to another level.
Okay.
For sure.
You got 5.2. I don't know what the next level is. 5.2 million subscribers.
I mean, it's about, see, but you gotta understand, that's on YouTube. That's on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So the next level will be creating your own platform. That would be the next level. Establishing enough of a revenue stream and a brand that you have the opportunity to create your own, you know, distribution platform. Not subject to the rules or regulations of a platform that is controlled by somebody else.
You know, so funny because
you know somebody could just click a thing and be like, you know, no more Vlad TV on YouTube.
oh no, they do that. They control that shit. I know. You know what's so funny? I used to not like going live. I like going live now because Ron used to tell me you have to create your own legacy. Big Face, you're a brand. I used to hate going live. I do it now.
Why?
Because I felt like, I don't know. At first, Kavario, I don't know. I was a private person. I don't know what it was, to be honest. I'm being a clown. I didn't know. And my man Kirk said you're a star since you know you're going to be on TV. Then Ron said people love you. Look, when you talk, they love you. So I started.
People have to love you.
Now I like it.
You're a lovable motherfucker.
Yeah, now I like it. So when you say create a brand, that's what I do. I'm trying to create a brand. Like my friend, Mr. Kirk, give me advice, Ron, because a lot of shit I don't like. Like, I'm switching to something I want to wait to the end, but I'm going to give you an example. Something happened that almost ruined our friendship. That Benzino shit was ridiculous. You know why? First, I know you. Number two, people do anything for views. If you look at my show, I don't do anything for views.
I know.
I got a standard on how I live my life.
It'll bite you in the ass.
But I wanted to, and I remember, Kavario, before we even had that little 7-minute argument, you said, Gary, I don't really give a fuck about the internet. So
it's not.
My word to you is, because at first, but I'm
world.
going to be honest with you, I got super tough skin. But if they come after me, I'm coming after you. So I kind of know how you felt. But my question to you is, how did you and Benzino fight that shit off? That sucker shit they was doing, man. Because Benzino was flipping. You was calm. You ain't say nothing.
Why would I?
But he was blacking. But you ain't say nothing. But he did.
You know, I'm going to tell you the difference between Ray and me is, right? The difference between Ray and me is that...
You said Ray. I forgot his name was Ray.
I've never...
You just killed me right there. That nigga, he's super official. I know Kurt, but he said Ray.
Anybody who has been around us will tell you, I've never called him Benzino. Benzino is a name that came out of 80s, you know, outside of where the culture originated. You know how, right, the shit started here, right? Our terminologies, the things that we established as cool and all that stuff, established here. As those things and the culture proliferated outward, they get incorporated into the pre-existing cultures of wherever they go, right? And the things that those cultures in those places, whether it's North Carolina or Boston or whatever is already in their culture, when they get what comes from our culture, whatever their culture already prioritizes or makes important, that they pull from our culture, although it might be peripheral to our culture, it's what they magnify and make central. Do you follow? Is that clear? Okay. So, in the era that RSO and the precursors of RSO came about, these young Boston dudes, you know, looking at what's happening in New York and like, yo, it's popping there and all that, whatever, and they got a cool thing popping, all that, whatever. They had things that they could see made sense in terms of why they were popular. There were things that was popular here that from the place it all started, that when by the time it got to them, it's like, well, don't really understand, not really connecting with that. But, you know, everybody, Benzes, niggas talk about Benzes. So, I'm Benzino. Now, I'm not telling you that is, because I don't know if I've ever asked them how he came up with that. But understanding the way that I understand culture and cultural, you know, development and, you know, the way that things, you know, go, how words get changed. I'm like, in Baltimore, back when I was in Baltimore in the 80s, in the 90s, when the motherfucker said bippin', that meant they was sniffing dope. Bippin' is some cool shit now. The word is somehow, from one generation to another, you talk about little kids hearing their older people talk about it and not understanding the context because it's adult language. They translate it into what they could make it make sense of, because they saw there's reference when they speak about it. Yeah, you know that. Yeah, it's reference because this guy that you're looking at, he's a dope fiend. He cool, he getting money, whatever, but he's a dope fiend. So yeah, he has reference for this thing that he fuck with. So you're picking up on what it is that he is finding cool or that is important to him, and he's important to you, so you're paying attention but not understanding. So when you say it, it's whatever is important to you now. Whatever makes you feel the way you felt like he was feeling when he was saying it, now that's what it means to you. You understand? So that's why I'm not Benzino. It just sounded like, you know. I'm not saying.
But the reason I gotta go back to something is because
I said right.
I know I'm not. That's crazy. I'm not big on the internet because if you see my show's growing slowly, but it's doing decently. But because I won't say anything. Fuck Cavario. He's not a good father. Oh my God, I get views. I don't do that.
Why do you think people are drawn?
No, that's why I'm about to ask you that. I'm asking you because I'm not big on it. Cavario, look at me, social media. None of my friends really do, but I'm trying to do for my show a little bit.
I've never seen you on IG.
I don't do that shit that much. They tell you they battling me.
Do you have an IG?
Yeah, I do. I'm just being honest. I'm getting better at it, Cavario. I'm being honest. So my question to you is, they try to take your soul, and you didn't let them take it. And I want you to tell the world how you handling Benzino. I'm some sucker shit, bro.
You can't take what you didn't give. The internet people on the internet didn't give me anything. The internet didn't make me. My whole life I built, you know, in the real world. I was already completely fucking me, not just in the street, but in the industry before the internet existed. I did Don Diva before the internet existed.
Yes, you did. You're right about that.
So, you can't take anything from me. You motherfuckers just got here. Like, it's ridiculous. So, when I hear about this, right, I had just gotten off the road, I think coming from here, having driven back, you know, 12 fucking hours back to my house in South Carolina.
I had just seen you. You was here. That's
right.
You was in a couple of juice bars.
Right. So I'm tired as a motherfucker, right? I get in, you know, get into bed. It's like fucking 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to bed. I get a call from somebody. I can't remember who it was. And they were like, yo, you see this stupid shit on the fucking internet? I was like, what internet? You know, the shit with Benzino, whatever. I got no idea what they talking about whatsoever. None. Right? So I was like, nah, I'm going to sleep. Right? I just got I'm going to sleep. Okay, cool. So I wake up maybe 2 hours later. And I get a call from, on my older phone, from, I think, from Choke.
Choke, no Choke.
Right? So I've known Choke forever. From doing the Don Diva thing. He used to kind of be around in Def Jam back in the day too, right?
He got this Rockefeller thing he won't let
right?
go. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yo, Choke, man. I love you, man. You gotta let that shit go.
Right.
You don't do nothing but rock. Ferrari, good Jesus.
I mean, you know, when
Jesus.
When somebody has prioritized something in their mind, you might not be. See, there have been plenty of people who they were like a dog with a bone, and people were like, man, forget about it. It's nothing that, and then kaboom!
He has so much other talent. He got so
You can't tell a man what he can and cannot do.
You're right.
What he can and cannot make happen, because when your belief is sufficient, you can do any motherfucking thing. I don't give a fuck what anybody else says. Just because somebody else can't see your vision doesn't mean that your vision is blind.
Ain't visible.
You dig?
Right.
So
I agree with you.
Fuck that. If that's what if you throwing your lot in with that, rock out. Just be prepared for it to do what it do or do what it don't.
You said it was 11 o'clock in your crib.
So I get up and Choke called it. So I was like, yo, what's up? He said, yo, you seen this shit on the internet? Some shit with you and Zeno at the hotel, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you talking. I hadn't probably seen Ray at that point. I probably hadn't seen him in 18 months.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like, we talk from time to time, but I'm busy as a motherfucker. You know what I mean? And he running all over the place trying to get to what he can get to. So I'm like, what? I don't know what the fuck you talking about. Like, I have no idea what you could be referencing. So he goes, I'm gonna send it to you. So he sent it to me, and I'm like, I have no idea what this is.
Still bugging.
I don't know. I'm looking at this video. I don't know what this is. Doesn't occur to me that cops wear cameras.
Yes.
That doesn't occur to me at all. Right? So I'm looking, I'm like, and I see Ray, and I'm like, that's not me. Because my mind, I have no recollection of this interaction. That's because it was 4 years before that.
Damn. Somebody trying to get views. Like I tell you, fuckery.
So I'm like, I remember this. Okay, so I know what this is about. I'm like, so what's the deal? What's going on here? He said, niggas, so you and him got caught in the hotel. I'm like, we didn't get caught. What are you talking about? Like, I don't get the reference. I don't get the inference.
Wack 100 went crazy for you.
I said, when he explained to me, he said, oh, they said y'all was in there, whatever. I said, I bust out fucking laughing. I said, what juvenile fucking delinquent preoccupied with his own homosexual motherfucking tendencies of latent homosexual came up with this fuck shit? And how do you get that from this?
That shit was crazy.
How do you get that from this?
Ron said that.
What are you fucking retarded?
Hanging out, Kirk and me
Who
share
made this
room.
up?
Ron
A
and me share
child?
room. Me and Kylie share room. That shit was bullshit.
A
Because me and Ron cheat. Ron is cheat. Ron is not gonna go get one room. Gary, we gonna get him, baby. I'll share it with Kirk. We ain't gay. Ron gonna share it. That was so cool. We said that. White 100 said that. You remember that? White 100 went crazy. White 100 went crazy for you. He said, motherfuckers can't share a room.
Shout out to Wack.
Shout to what? There was a real gay guy trying to talk shit. Wack went off on that motherfucker. He said friends can't share their rooms. Guys can't. I've been on the road many times.
I've never met him.
Look it up. Wack went crazy. Like I said, if I'm on the road, I know me, Ron, shit on the road.
We from the beginning.
Kylie was shit, Kirk and shit, and Kirk and me. I ain't gonna talk me, Kirk and me, Kirk. Kirk, I ain't get no rooms. Get a room, nigga. And no disrespect, if we about to play, nigga, Nigga sit in the downstairs in the community room so they can finish. We've been there before. They get some pop. You gotta lay low, right, Kirk? That's the rule.
Anybody who ever been on the road, they know that one.
I never on the Cavari.
Nigga go sit on the bus.
Figure it out, Kirk, Ron, Pop, anybody back then. Kylie said, G, don't worry, we to LA. Kylie said, Kylie said, you got some thing going on, G. I'll just sit in the car. That's what we real. Kylie will lay off.
Only a real sucker.
That was whoever did that was a sucker. That was a sucker. That was a sucker.
You know what I mean?
That was a sucker.
Not like
that was a real sucker move.
You know, like, go sit, go chill, nigga. You know what I mean? Only a real. You should never fuck with a nigga if he ever tried to block.
God, I add this on my crew. No, I go downstairs. Kirk, Kylie, Ron, like, Ron the cheat. Ron like getting 2 rooms when we don't have to get 2 rooms.
No. Yo, and shout out to Benzino for being a legend.
Yes, shout out to Benzino.
Fucking right.
And being the father of a superstar.
Yeah.
God bless him and his daughter.
Let's get Bezo clap. They went through a little thing. They were trying to kill him. He fought through that shit. They were trying to get him
buzz it now, buzz it. So, you know, when I get on it, like Choke was like, yo, get on the live with me, man. And you know, and talk about this shit, whatever. So, you know, I'm like, I get that, because I don't give a fuck. Now I go back to sleep. I'm sitting out here in my home in these beautiful fucking woods, in this beautiful, you know, suburb of fucking SC, in my beautiful fucking home. And you think I'm concerned about a bunch of motherfuckers living in rat and roach infested fucking tenements talking about what the fuck? Are you out your fucking mind, man? If I was preoccupied with that kind of shit, again, I would not be here.
Trying to get their views up.
Man,
and I'm telling you, Big Face Gary, my show growing. I'm not doing shit to hurt people's feelings, get my views up. We don't do that. We earn our keep.
You gotta understand something. You gotta understand something. If you build your foundation or build your thing on shit, it will collapse. This internet shit does not go away. So if you're gonna get on screen and disparage established, respected fucking men, anybody who's ever said anything disparaging about me, like I told you before, I have never seen it. I have never watched a second of it. I have no morbid curiosity to see or hear a motherfucker say something demeaning or disparaging about me or my character that doesn't even fucking know me, has never stood before me, and if they got any motherfucking sense, they would never stand before me.
And on my show, the Big Face Gary show, you heard the story, that bullshit Benzino shit. I said it, we said it. You heard it on the Big Face Gary show. Now, how's your prison work going? I know you're big on that.
Oh man, Healthy Routines is the name of my nonprofit organization.
Okay, cool.
Right? And I started this, me and my brother founded it. My wife is the nuts and bolts of it. She's the director. She's a international, she works for an international corporation that she solves problems. I'm talking about like everywhere. We've been to, you know, I've been to fucking Warsaw, Poland with this shit. You know what I mean? With her job. You know, they just pay for everything. So
you go with your
I just go. You know what I mean? So I be doing tourist shit, but she's up in the motherfucking, you know, up in the office, you know, telling them how they need to do what they need to do, right? Okay. And you know, we have established this thing with seven HBCUs now. Okay. In South Carolina. So what happens is these HBCUs they provide accredited courses that provide the real college degrees to incarcerated citizens, and the education is completely paid for, even if you don't finish it before you get out, which the likelihood of someone, I mean, it could happen, but the likelihood of them not finishing before they get out is not great because they give you an ass full of time. So you got plenty of time. And you got to do 85%. And so,
good Jesus.
Yeah, they're working on getting that reduced, you know what I mean? Because they're burying brothers out there. It's like Edge Valentine.
Get people, like I have a friend named
But that's what's happening. That's what's happening. You know, we're just expanding it. The Mind Plug Academy, which is my independent arm. My wife and I have created a curriculum that focuses on interpersonal and intrapersonal skills, right? Which is what's largely missing from our community, and that is what leads to so many things taken to the fullest extreme because cats don't know how to manage themselves and they don't know how to manage their interactions. You know, so things get said, things get misunderstood, feelings get hurt, and next you know people are doing things that make no fucking sense, that aren't taking into consideration what condition the 34-year-old version of your 17-year-old ass, wants for his life. So here you are, 17, you're making these stupid ass decisions because you haven't been given this training to teach you to think critically, to take into consideration what you not just want now, but what you want ultimately, right? And the Mind Plug Academy is about teaching brothers how to comport themselves, to manage themselves in a way that society will allow them to remain in society. You know what I mean? And it's a skill set that is largely missing from the experience of being a young black or brown person in any city, in this country. And cats don't really get to sit down and really focus and really think and, consider and stuff like that until they're sitting on the other side of a fucking wall some goddamn with, with 50 fucking years in front of them. So we're trying to prevent that.
I have a question. Like, I have a friend named Bourne. He owns two. You know Bourne. He owns the Just 112 and I own 34. He did a lot of time, but he has a degree. This guy is smart. Why they shut that program? Covarius, there's something you could do and try to start. They don't let these guys get a degree when they come. Look what Bourne did. He came out, got 2 juice bars now. Because he knew how to do business. They don't give degrees in jail no more. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They stopped it. When are they going to bring this back, you think?
Somebody run it back. What I just said.
You said that, but you didn't say it.
He just said.
You said that, but I don't think. Okay, well, you know what? It went over my head. Okay, it went over my head a little bit. Okay, but you said it that way. But let me say from what I want to say. These guys need to do that because at least when they come home, they have a way.
Education is key, bro.
Yeah, they have the key.
See, the thing is, a lot of people make. It's all good. A lot of people make. They make the decisions they make based upon the limit of their insight, the limit of their understanding, the limit of the information that they have. Cats, if they knew better, they would do better. Mm-hmm. There aren't enough examples being set for them. You know what I mean? That's why it's so important for people like myself and other credible messengers that have had experiences and have made the kinds of choices that these guys. There are but so many choices to make in the street. There's but so many choices, right? And once you've made them, it's just varying degrees of the same choices. More of this, less of that. But there are but a few choices, maybe a dozen choices that you make in the street. And no matter how long you're in the street, you're going to just go through a cycle of these choices over and over again. Yeah. Once you get to a certain age, like when you are, say, when you're 13. When I was 13 and I started out, all I wanted was, I liked clothes. I was a serial dresser. You know what I mean? So I spent thousands of dollars on my clothes, right? That's all you're thinking. You're not thinking about, preparing for mortgages, preparing for college tuitions for children you don't yet have. You're not thinking about securing your legacy, securing the children of the children that you haven't had yet. You're not thinking about getting in, making as much money as you can before anybody knows you're there, getting out and establishing yourself a legitimate lifestyle. You're not thinking about none of that stuff. You're thinking about the immediate concerns of a young person to the degree that they understand what the world's about. I gotta be fresh. And once I was like, okay, I was raised fresh, so I wanted to be able to provide that for myself. So okay, boom, I'm providing it for myself. Well, you fresh, so you gotta be able to jump into OJ, you know what I mean? Touch class, you know what I mean? Pull up in the 98.
Somebody who, I'm catching what you're saying. So what do you tell about somebody that person grew up with bought 4 houses of clothes already?
What happened?
What do you tell somebody you grew up who bought 4 houses worth of clothes?
4 houses worth.
You're not catch what I'm saying. I'm gonna say it again. Serial dresser.
Yes.
He spent over 4 houses worth of clothes.
Right.
That fucker right there. No, I'm not like a serial dresser.
The thing is, man.
Serial dresser.
It's the same. It's the same.
Jesus.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about.
And smart as hell.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. You can be smart and not know a fucking thing.
You gotta.
I tell my daughter.
Kurt, you buy a house worth of clothes, Kurt?
You can be smart and be ignorant as fuck.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. A house worth of clothes. I'm dumb too.
So this is the thing. If you are, as you grow, and you only know what you know, so your locus of concern is limited to what you know. As a young teen, it's about personal presentation. then it's like, okay, you can't be standing around fresh as a motherfucker. So you got to go places. You need a way to get to and fro. So for us back in you know, early 80s, late 70s, it was touch of class. Pull up in the touch of class. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go get your smoke. You know what I'm saying? And you know, call the class. You know, put it on, put the car on hold.
Got the music on that.
You know, for 20 fucking hours. You know what I mean? At $25 an hour.
Got them everywhere.
Right? Go everywhere.
Hold around. What do you say you up to? You're from Queens.
What you talking about? We call them system cabs.
Oh, that's your call?
What do we call them?
Okay, let's check.
We call them system cabs.
System cab. I never heard that.
We call them system cabs.
Okay, my phone.
And you grab, you get the cab, same thing.
But these were these luxury vehicles.
They were regular cars, but they had the good.
No, we had limo. We had limo.
Let me put this upon you because I'm the senior in this building. So let me. You're
right. You don't care.
So this is what it is. This is what it is. These cars had these seats that were like a Posturepedic mattress. Crushed velvet.
Crushed velvet.
You sat this motherfucker got out, walked over, opened the door for you. You 14 years old, and you go and you get that motherfucker, you sit back, it's like this motherfucking couch.
The 98s, like the 98s.
Oh,
that's what
the back jacked up.
Yeah.
You got the white wall tires, spoke rims, sunroof, you know, electric windows.
Yes.
Not roll down, which was normal.
Right.
And a system.
And an 8-track player in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Right? And so, you know, you pull up to the T Connection, you pull up to the Fever. You know what I mean?
T Connection was that? That's my shit. I remember that. T Connection. I know I'm young. Where was that at? Someone told me about that.
T Connection. Fuck, I can't remember.
It
was in the Bronx.
Okay. I heard of that shit.
It was uptown. It was uptown.
Fever in the Bronx, uptown.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what the fucking name of that. What's the name of that street?
98.
It'll come in. T Connection, Garage, Jerome Skating Rink, which eventually became years later Skate Fever.
Okay.
Who said that?
Skate Key.
No, Jerome Skating Rink became Skate Fever.
Okay.
Right? So it was connected to Disco Fever. Okay. You know, these kinds of places, you know what I'm saying? And Bro International, shit like that. So, okay, now you riding around in this car, whatever, this and the other, and now you're thinking, okay, well, shit, I want to drive my own joint. I want to drive my own joint. So now your locus of concern is greater. You know what I mean? Because when you come out the club, you know, if you didn't hold the car, you might tell a nigga, look, I'm going to be in the club for about 3 hours. Go do what you do. Yeah. Come back and pick me up. When you come out, you know, you don't want to wait. You know what I mean? So now you want to get your own joint. So now it's okay. I'm buying cars now. That requires me to get deeper invested in this endeavor. Right? Stepping the game up, getting to more money so I can do more shit. Well, you can't be fresh to death, riding around in that car, and you ain't got no motherfucking, you know, shines, because that's not the example that was set for you. So now you gotta get the shines.
That's that fly
right?
shit, G.
The T-Connection was on Bronx with that.
Huh?
G.
Bronx with that, that's right. My older brother used to live in Bronxwood and Paulding, 216 Bronxwood and Paulding.
G, that's fly, G. In the morning we gonna talk about you.
So now you got the fly clothes. You know what I mean? You rocking Bally's, Playboys. You got on the motherfucking overlaps or the double knits, whatever. Sure. You know what I'm saying? You got on the suede front. You know what I mean? You know, you got your chain. You got, you know, you got your car, you know, you got your jewelry. Well, you know, you can't be all of this and not have a pocket full of motherfucking money. So now you got to do more. You got to do more now. And that's how it happens. But none of this is thinking past this.
That's right.
You know,
this. You know what I'm saying?
Or as you said before,
nobody was investing.
Not past their nose.
Nobody was investing. Nobody was buying business.
Nobody thought of that.
Now, see the people who came before me, they, you know, in my block, 16th Street, my brother owned a grocery store, Bernard owned the grocery store. My mother owned the game room and pool table. Like, you know, game room was pinball back then. There was no video games. Right. This was pinball and pool tables. Nats on 114th Street and 8th Avenue. We had businesses all around, but nobody was saying, you know, do this. It was like you're around it, whatever, whatever. Nobody's explaining the nuts and bolts of this or the importance of this. So it seems like for a kid, it's like, well, I want to do the things that are most fun to do.
Right.
So what's most fun is to go out, make money, spend the money, have fun, enjoy yourself, whatever, whatever. And nobody's thinking about being tethered to a fucking business all day.
Right.
Right? So my generation fell away from that. I did have stores, but I didn't take it seriously. I didn't take it seriously. It was just something, you know, get my son's mother out my fucking hair. Yeah, here's your store. You work that. Mind your business all day, not mine.
Right.
Right? But I wasn't thinking about, you know, the future. I wasn't thinking about, and this is something that when I speak to a lot of my mentees, I tell them, think about, and it's an exercise, and I'm suggesting anybody who's watching this, do this exercise. Whatever age you are, think about the 20-year older than you version of you, right? So say if you are 20, think about 40-year-old you, right? Wake up tomorrow and start a journal. But the journal is not 2023, but 2043. Because barring any tragedies, 2043 is coming. One day you will be 40-year-old you. And right as 40-year-old you, right? Yeah, man, I woke up today, man, I'm so blessed. I woke up today in my home here on the French Riviera, man, overlooking the ocean, you know, man, and I'm so excited because I just got my pilot's license yesterday, and I'm going to get to actually, you know, fly my helicopter off of my roof tomorrow and go to the Clearport and get my, you know, G-17 and be able to fly my family to Paris, to New York, or LA to go shopping for the day, whatever, whatever. And it's so, you know, so extraordinary. Whatever it is that you want to have as a life, it doesn't matter where you are right now. 20 years from now, this is your life. And think about that person and that person's condition and practice that every day. Write a paragraph. Add on to that. If you struggle with writing whatever your imagination come up with, if you struggle with using your imagination and writing this out, just imagine how hard you're going to struggle with actually making it fucking happen. Because your imagination will cost you nothing. And if you resist writing your most wildest fantasy as your reality, then you better believe that you are not working towards creating the condition that you, as you string up and head out, stuff your joint in your waist, you put the packs in your pocket, and go out and whatever, you can best believe that you're not working towards this outcome that you kind of amorphously, you know, kind of like, you know, smoke kind of, you know, imagine being, and, you know, yeah, and it's going to be like this, that, and the other, whatever, whatever. You're not really working towards that like you think you are. If you can't sit down and do this exercise and write it like tomorrow is, you know, February 2nd, 2043, and man, life is so fucking good, man. Like, I can't believe, man, you know, I just fucking purchased Madison Square Garden, you know what I'm saying? The first time I'm gonna do is throw a big ass motherfucking party, you know what I mean? Like Big Meech did in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? It's free everything, animals everywhere. Like, whatever the fuck you want. Whatever you want. But this is how you begin to develop the kind of focus that goes beyond your immediate concerns. Because if you're not doing that, then you're doing the other thing. And the other thing is not thinking about nothing but tomorrow. Tomorrow. And what is that concern? That concern is whether they're going to like my posts tomorrow. So I got to go and put myself at risk so I can do a dope post tomorrow. And everybody else is doing it, so you're encouraged to do that. But everybody else is also going to be fucked up because they're not thinking about the future. They're not operating in a way that takes into consideration that barring any tragedies, motherfucker, it's coming. So the other day I said, damn, I'm so heartfully thankful for 30-year-old me who decided, you know what? No, going back. I'm thankful for 23-year-old me who said, yo, I don't want to eat animals' flesh anymore. I don't want to eat meat anymore. And I'm thankful for 28-year-old me who said, yo, I don't need to be involved with a bunch of fucking women. I need one good one, and that's that. And I'm thankful for 30-year-old me that said, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to be doing that 31, what I was doing at 13. So think about it.
That's a good one. Amen. That's a good one. Now, I see you working on. How was your experience on the Paid in Full set too? I see you was chilling out. Yeah.
Shout out to Dane.
Shout out to Dane. That's my man. Everybody know that's my boy right there.
That's your man.
That's my main man. That's my man. I love him. He's my boy.
So,
He's crazy as hell. Dude, though.
Lou Sims. Shout out to Lou Sims. If you haven't caught it yet, check out the Lou Sims interview on Vlad TV. Just started doing the releasing the episodes, whatever. Lou called and said, "Yo, we over here in Jersey on the Paid in Full set, Paid in Full 2 set." I said, "Okay, cool." He said, "You coming through?" I said, "Yeah, I'm coming." He said, "Call Unique." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna hit him right now. We gonna hit over there." So I shot over there right then, and Unique came shortly afterwards, and they had and OG Danny was over there. Shout out to OG Danny.
Where was y'all at?
We were in Jersey.
You did it in Jersey.
Yeah. So the BBS boys, were our hosts. So they were doing these interviews, right, in front of an MPV, kind of like the one. It was a 4-wheel drive. Like the one I had the first 4-wheel drive MPV that hit New York City.
I 4-wheel drive.
I bought in '89. I bought the 90. The 90 was the first year was 4-wheel drive.
I had a 93.
Yeah.
My shit was I had the beige leathers with the.
Yeah, I had the beige leather.
Relax.
With the sun.
You had the 2-wheel drive garbage.
And the BBs.
I had the 4-wheel drive.
17-inch 3-piece BBs.
I had the 4. This was garbage. 2-wheel drive is little boy shit.
I had 2 of them, man.
I got big boy cars now, bro. I got some nice cars now. That's garbage. You know what 2-wheel drive is? That means we gotta push you out the snow.
That's right.
4-wheel drive in a butt thing.
I used to ski heavily. I needed.
That's what I did 4-wheel drive.
I can't get stuck now.
Oh no! I just said that to you. You got 2 machines now. You got machines. Well, anyway, so that was what it is. I got pick on.
And the BBS boys had joints in there with a Bimby's cars, and Bimby had a
Queen.
Bimby from Queens.
Yeah,
that's right.
It was a 63 coupe. The 63 coupe, probably about a 19 or something like that. Bubbly on the big.
You have BBs on your MPV?
Yes.
You got the real BBs in, the real, not the fake shit they doing that.
Well, they didn't have fake.
Back era, they did it. You're right. Now they make replicas. You're right.
So 17-inch BBs. If they did, I didn't know nothing about them. They were not known, and that wasn't something you talk about. Like if you were doing something fake back then, you didn't talk about it because niggas would admonish you for that. Like,
shout out to Ron too.
What you doing?
I'm gonna keep it with my man. My man work van that he get money in has BBs. So play toy. His work van, he's embarrassed. He says, "I got BBs. I'm playing myself." His shit nice. He got a good deal on them, but that's his work van. But he hate that shit. I hate BBs.
Gary is one of the most inappropriate people that I've ever
seen. Oh, you know what they do to me? Yo, they be killing me. You think it's easy for me? They killing me regular. These my friends, they don't care. We have no filter. So don't think I don't do shit they don't do to me.
So
I'm Haitian.
That's one way. That's one way. Because you just imagine if y'all didn't do that and keep him, grounded.
Oh, they can't
imagine.
My mouth filthy. He told me years ago I was a star. My mouth is filthy. I deserve half the shit I did. I'm an asshole. I admit that. But I love my friends. But I know
I can tell that.
But I know when to stop too. I don't beat a dead horse.
Right.
So hold up. So I gotta go because you like I said, man, I enjoyed this interview almost better than the first.
Shit, I gotta go.
You ain't even go. You came late.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so it ain't you. I was scheduled on time.
I gotta be early.
You gotta ask about BMF.
And I'm gonna go to Wingo them. I got a couple more.
I ain't gonna have to do it though.
Huh? No. So no. Wrong, right. What do you think about the BMF? I love that show. The BMF series on Stars. And I'm gonna do 2 for 1 because you can handle it. How do you feel about that BMF story on Stars? And have you spoken to me since you had that convo? That was incredible, that shit you did.
The phone convo.
I'm giving 2 and 1.
Which one?
This is the last time.
Oh, you had a couple? I'm talking about the...
I've had several of them.
I don't know. Okay,
well, we haven't had a recent one.
No.
We want a recent one.
No, I haven't had a recent one. Mostly because he's one time. Me and Little Meech's auntie, his mom's sister. Well, she got on me because she was like, every time you put something out, they lock him away. And I'm like, I'm not twisting his. We're on the phone.
Oh, like he's doing something wrong. He's getting in trouble. They put him in. Oh.
You know why? Because they're like, how the fuck are you talking to him?
That's feds, right?
Yeah, like how you talking? We don't have any record of your conversations, motherfucker. How are you talking to him? Right. So they did him real dirty one time. And like they put him in solitary, man. Like they were trying to break him. They were trying to make him go crazy. Yeah. So the next time I got a chance to do that, we had to do it by way of the real phone system, whatever. And I released that one. Years after I did it, I released it because still, even though it was through you can hear it say this call is from so and so. But even though it's still like they don't like that he gets the level of attention that he does. Because it gives him influence. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I like to isolate him, keep him around from people, even corrections officers, because it gives him influence with them.
Do you think you ever get a chance to do another convo like that with him?
I mean, I could. I don't want to be. He's highly scrutinized. Yeah. I don't want to be on those calls. I don't want to be like scrutinized like that. You know what I mean? I don't want. You know what I mean? Like,
do you like
they on him.
Now, do you like the show? Well, I love it. So let me say something else. You just put me on through. 50. No disrespect. I apologize, 50. I said I see you did your deal over because they put all the stuff out. I said 20 mil. Kavari looked at me like I was crazy. He said 20 mil. Yeah, this kid has destroyed the game. Way more than that.
They got to give bro 100.
Ghost coming back. Forces coming back. At first he was leaving.
Other shit that y'all don't even know about.
Now this kid's special.
Yeah, other shit that he's working on y'all don't even know about.
Oh no, I know he's a monster. Yeah. Monster. Yeah, so. The only thing about 50, I was picking around about Ron's from Queens. He said, he almost they killed his mother. He been shot. I feel like he's so mad still. He just gets petty. No, he's a little petty sometimes. At 50,
he does like he plays the petty game.
And Ron said from Queens, his mother got killed. The petty game. He got shot 9 times, Gary. No, everybody doubted him. He killed the game. He might be a little petty. Ron hate when I said, Ron said, Queens guys are sensitive. I'm from Queens. So
when he assimilated the 48, right?
Okay.
There were things that I'm sure he picked up in there that seemed natural to him, and by picking up this tone and seeing things in there that like resonated with him on a core level, I bet he was like, yeah, I'm not crazy and I'm not wrong. Like, if a person rises up against me, then and they are not thorough in their undoing of me, they deserve me to come back and completely, totally annihilate them. My mother taught me that as a child. She said, you get rid of your enemy and all remnants of him.
Kavari, he stopped being somebody's friend who couldn't read at that time. I'm sure Mayweather could read now. But back then, they were supposed to be friends. Mayweather couldn't read.
Here you go. Here you go. He owns skyscrapers in Manhattan.
Kavari, you didn't hear that? I'm not saying he can't read now. But they broke up his friend. They was really best friends.
Apparently he count, though.
Well, I think he got people smart with the signs of check. You better sign this. You're going to get rich. Sign this right now. So, what would be your dream? What would be your shut up, Kirk? What would be your dream interview if you could get it? Because it's hard. Because my dream interview between me and you, and these are people I know, you're going to think I'm crazy.
Gangsters, though. Because you've done impeccable gangsters. You've done Peter Shue. You've done Mecca. These are all your personal friends, so it's no big deal. But to the rest of the world, it is a big deal. You've done only reputable, stand-up, Lou Sims, etc., etc., etc. If you could get a guy I know who I would want you.
I know who you would get.
I know who I would want him to get.
I think you would get, but he stands for everything you don't believe in. But he's a monster.
Who?
He's a cold-blooded killer. Who? Sammy the Bull. I would love to see him.
He wouldn't do it though, because he wouldn't interview him.
That's why I just said to you. You wouldn't do that.
Now,
because
this is the thing. Like, this is the thing, bro.
What you stand for.
I'm not enamored by that because that is what I come from.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? One of the reasons that I present the way that I do, speak and behave the way that I do, is because I come from that. I grew up in my house with that. Y'all might think that shit is cute or whatever, but when you live with it, you don't think so. When you don't know who might do what when, and that's your condition as a child growing up, you don't think it's nothing cute. You want to be anything other than that, right? So that's how me and Trevor became so close friends, because I was able to access a world that I knew nothing about. Regular people.
Right.
You understand? So I don't have any. I mean, I do, but because I know I'm going to, I ain't gonna say it.
Okay. And I got two of my brand that I know I can.
Wait. Guy Fisher. All day. All day.
That's my cousin Rhonda. That's her father.
That I would love to see.
He and my father, from what I'm told, because he went to jail when I was a kid.
He murdered. I would call them.
Him and my father were very close. Somebody told me not so long. He said, your pops and God were very close with her. But he's my cousin Rhonda's dad, right?
I would love that.
I've been waiting for him to come home. I've had he's an excellent writer. I've had 3 of his manuscripts. One is about Puff's dad. Right? It's kind of more of a script. But he has one called Vicious Cycle, Circle, that is fucking phenomenal. And I would love to sit down and talk to him. See, the guys of that era, that's the era that gave way to me. You know, the guys that came up with me, the way I was raised by the people I come from, I was told from very young, don't bother to remember the names of these guys who would be your peer group. Don't bother to remember their names. They're not going to be around long enough for it to matter.
Wow.
I was told that verbatim.
Ooh.
Right? And then I lived to experience the reality of it. Fact. These motherfuckers had 4 hot summers at best. They went away forever.
We talked about that, Ron. We naming no names.
So 4 years of getting money, then you got 20 fucking years. You know, and prior to the internet, when you went away for 20 years, that was it. You were forgotten. Puff. Gone. Gone. If it weren't for the internet, they would have buried the memory and legend of Big Meech. The internet made that impossible. The way, like we talked about at the beginning of this, the way that hip-hop culture has assimilated everything that is representative of that. That's, I think I'm Big Meech. If it wasn't for that being a part of culture, then Big Meech would have slipped into obscurity and been replaced in the minds of the street fans by the next guy who climbed to the top of the building.
Speaking of Big Meech, how did you get on the BMF docu-series as a narrator? It seems like you are well respected when it comes, as you should be, to the street politics, the street rules in the streets. And it seems like everybody's coming to get you, as they should, to commentate on this street stuff. Everybody from Al Prophet, who I love his content. I love his content.
Man,
so
if you haven't seen his documentaries, man,
I love
really
his
dig
content.
this street shit, Al is the only one that gives you historical context. See, everybody else does these things as though these conditions started with some black dude who picked up a package here in America. Nope. Al lets you know that it was people who don't look like us in places far away who had, unlike the guys here, I never picked up a package and was like, yes, I'm going to sell this heroin and poison thousands of people, make money. But these motherfuckers did, because they, unlike us, had the education and the historical context to understand what the impact of what they were going to do, which was proliferate this shit across the goddamn country, planet. Wow. They understood what the impact would be All we knew was we gonna get some money and buy some shit and then live fun and have fun. They understood the real impact of it. And they were the ones who facilitated the shipping and the transportation and the production and the growing. They're the ones that, and Al's the only person that tells you who they were by name. Wow. And what part they played by name. Klaus Barbie. Motherfuckers never heard of Klaus Barbie before him. I had, because I was made to read the books as a kid. But no, motherfuckers didn't know who Klaus Barbie was.
I'm gonna look into Klaus Barbie tonight and tomorrow.
All you gotta do is get all you gotta do is get White Powder, Black Power.
That's a documentary right now.
Mom,
yep.
And that's fine. That documentary is fine.
That One More Than We Good. This is for me. So I stopped hustling in '99. All my friends are hardworking guys. I'm not. They don't do that, which is not. I wasn't proud of it. But when I got caught, I was actually happy because, and I'm not judging, but this is me. How can I think I'm the man when I'm selling something that's hurting all my peoples and gaining benefit from it? And I got to that point. I said, for me, I ain't talking about nobody else. I don't care. I know niggas get money. You my friend. I don't care. But I got peace with myself when I stopped. That's the point I was trying to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I can relate. I did too, right?
I got peace with myself.
Right. And so this is the thing. When I stopped, I didn't stop because, you know, there weren't 50 things coming next week, because they were.
Yeah, they don't stop. They don't stop
going. I stopped because I was thoroughly tired.
Yeah, me too. I told you, Ron, I was tired. Frank, you told me I was tired. Frank,
I wasn't just tired for me. I was, because I was born into it, that meant that all the shit that my mother in that generation dealt with, that I was there because I'm in the home, I'm all of the things that are impacting them, I'm being impacted by proximity.
I got you.
Then the generation that came after them, which were my siblings who were 14 and 16 years older than me, right? Now I'm dealing with that impact. I'm watching that go down. You know, my sister, you know, shooting my mother's youngest brother at the top of his fucking head while he slept because she slapped him over her whacking a fucking package. You know what I mean? You know, my mother killing her husband because he tried to leave with $500,000 of their money for some woman. You know what I mean? Like, but he was just hugging me and loving me, you know, just a day before. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just, you know, a couple of instances. I dealt with the impact of that existence, which is why I didn't feel the need in my career to run around like, look at me, I'm doing it, yo, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. I didn't, because I wasn't allowed to develop an idea of some romantic, fantastical idea about how cool this life was. I wasn't allowed that. I was shown the bitter fucking bones of this bullshit from its beginnings. So there was no fantasy for me. There was no, I'm just these clothes and this jewelry in this car. I was never allowed that.
Amen.
So by the time I got to that point, motherfucker, I was thoroughly motherfucking tired. 3 generations, the streets had enough of my motherfucking blood and bones. I wasn't gonna give them another.
Beautiful.
That's it.
I got one more for you. Killed that. You killed that. That's how I felt. Thank you. This is the one more thing I need. That is Ron asked a question, but I want the people to know. To just be clear. How did they find you for that Meech documentaries? I'm gonna look at that too when I go home. Not tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I'm gonna do Cisco Kid
to the Blowing Money Fast documentary on Stars, right? So if you haven't seen the Blowing Money Fast documentary on Stars, that is the documentary. Shout out to David Iverson, you know, the producer of that joint, whatever. So Meech contacted Mama, which is Miss Lucille, his mom, and she contacted me and said, Meech wants you to participate in this documentary.
He clearly asked for you.
Yes.
Oh God.
So I got involved because Meech asked me.
Just do Meech, man. I don't know, he's special. He gonna come home and win because he's doing the right thing.
Yes,
his son is an actor now. Look just like him.
And he got other, like, this is not all that he.
You told me he got some things coming.
He's already got some other stuff.
Over 50 only 50.
I don't know the other projects of 50s. It's other projects, the acting jobs.
His son.
Yes.
Oh, okay, his son. Okay.
Oh, that's great, man.
So as promised, this is a great show. Again, you always special. You talk your shit. I love it. You real. You passionate like me. Part 2, Cavario, done. It's going to be way more. Thank you for coming. I love you, Big Fit Gary Show. Appreciate you. We love you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, man. That was a fit.
Now you got to do his strongman dance.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't. Your last show, they said I pissed on myself. And I went to the bathroom. They picked on me. I was so embarrassed. If you know, I don't drink that much when I do the show.